all this rain causing issues. Alex Williams telling us where the biggest headaches are this noon.
Yeah, it has been a mess since the get-go this morning, Sabrina. Right now we're dealing with a crash where it's raining pretty good in Norcross, or coming out of Norcross toward DeKalb, 85 southbound, Pleasantdale Road, exit 96. Two right lanes are blocked there. You're stacked up back into Duluth. Also, if you're traveling around the airport, 285 westbound, that Interloop tunnel right near I-85 west of Riverdale Road, that's got some standing water in it from the rain, so cars are single file going through that tunnel, and that's causing brake lights back toward Riverdale Road. Sabrina?
All right, and the rain's going to be with us all day today, according to Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Periods of rain could be heavy at times. Afternoon high only around 53. We'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. And a life-threatening storm headed for Jamaica. Hurricane Melissa, now a Cat 5. Now, the usually busy streets of Kingston, Jamaica, are quiet this noon, essentially empty right now as this dangerous hurricane approaches. Jason Allen is reporting from Kingston this afternoon.
The schools are closed here in Kingston. Government offices are closed as well. The police are out and patrolling the streets, but a lot of people, most people now, are staying inside until this storm makes its way over the island.
And some folks are stranded there in Jamaica, like Donna Lee Gordon from Atlanta. Since Friday, she's been wondering,
how am I going to get home?
Melissa has winds of at least 160 miles an hour. Meteorologist Ginger Z tracking it.
By tomorrow morning, we'll be talking about landfall, and that's when the worst of the winds will be coming in through the western half of Jamaica. The southern part of Jamaica, that coast, that's where the 9 to 13 feet of storm surge.
Now, after hitting Jamaica, Melissa expected to impact Cuba and the Bahamas. We'll keep an eye on it for you. It is 12:02. Two brothers are sentenced to life in prison in the shooting death of a man outside a Gwinnett County nightclub.
It was back in April of 2021. 37-year-old Shaquan McKenzie was visiting from Gainesville when he went to a hookah lounge in Lawrenceville to celebrate a birthday with friends. Prosecutors say what started as an argument inside the club ended with 25-year-old Devian Netters shooting McKenzie with an assault rifle outside. He and his 24-year-old brother Julian fled, but prosecutors found both through DNA evidence. They're convicted on several charges, including murder, aggravated assault, and gun charges. Cheryl Castro, 95.5 WSB.
A Flowery Branch woman is in jail after being arrested for writing false prescriptions over 10 months, 37 of them. 44-year-old Ashley Dean arrested and charged with 37 counts of obtaining a controlled substance by fraudulent means. Investigators said the prescriptions were filled at a local pharmacy there in Flowery Branch in Hull County. As the government shutdown drags on, the largest union of federal workers says it's time to get agencies back open. Stephen Portnoy has more from Washington.
The union's call is being seen as a signal to Democrats that the shutdown has gone on long enough. The American Federation of Government Employees says both parties have made their point, and now it's time to pass a clean extension of government funding. But that's been on the table for a month, and Senate Democrats have been consistently blocking it to draw attention to expiring health insurance subsidies. The union says that larger debate should continue after the government reopens, something GOP leaders have been arguing for weeks.
Early voting now underway for the state Senate seat that was vacated by Democrat Jason Estevez, who's now running for governor. The District 35 seat covers parts of Cobb and Fulton counties. There are a total of 6 candidates vying for the seats, including 4 Democrats, 1 Republican, and 1 independent. Early voting runs through November 14th. Election day is 4 days after that. Did you hear about this? Former Georgia governor and U.S. Department of Ag Secretary and current University System of Georgia Chancellor Sonny Perdue is now in the National Agriculture Hall of Fame in Kansas City. He was recognized for his significant contributions to American agriculture, and he is just the 3rd Georgian to be inducted. He's going to join prominent figures in American agriculture history. That would include President Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, as well as John Deere. And we are in the middle of football season right now, and Wayne Cabot reporting this noon, the governing body of college football taking a hit in court.
The NCAA owes a former college football player and his wife $18 million for failing to warn the player about the long-term effects of concussions. Robert Gaithers played at South Carolina State University in the 70s. He's 68 now and has trouble dressing himself and making meals. The South Carolina jury found college sports' major governing body negligent in not revealing a risk it's known about since the 1930s.
And this is new here at noon. Carter's, the Atlanta-based children's clothing company, says it's going to be closing 150 stores nationwide. The company, known for brands like OshKosh B'gosh and Little Planet. The closures will be spread out over roughly 3 years. 300 jobs will be cut at its office-based roles by the end of the year. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Let's go back to Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Still dealing with the wet pavement and multiple crashes around Metro Atlanta, Sabrina. Better news heading out of Norcross into DeKalb County. Crash now off to the right, 85 southbound Pleasantdale Road, exit 96. But behind that in Norcross, you got a stalled Big Rig in the second right lane, 85 southbound before Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. Long-standing crash on the west side inner loop in the right lane, 285 northbound, Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, exit 9. And once you get past that, now we have a spin-out crash on the wet pavement in the left lane, 285 northbound, the inner loop at Bolton Road, exit number 13. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Your 5-day forecast sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta.
We'll stay cloudy, breezy, cool with off and on rain through the day. Temperatures holding in the low to mid 50s, gust to 30 miles an hour. Some showers overnight and then mainly dry tomorrow. Just a 20% chance of rain. Will be overcast and cool. Tuesday's low 50, high 57. Wednesday, cloudy, rain returns. Rain chance 80%, low 49, high 56. Now my 5-day forecast for Thursday and Friday. Mostly cloudy and cool on Thursday. Just a 20% chance of rain, low 46, high 56. Then mostly sunny and cool on Friday, low 43, high 60. I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz, 95.5 WSB.
53 degrees with rain here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 12:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Delighted to have you with me. We got to talk about Donald Trump has baited the Democrats again. They have taken the bait yet again. He does this, and you would think at some point that the Democrats would figure out what is going on, but they cannot help themselves. There is a level of mental illness in this country that knows no bounds. I mentioned the other day, I don't know how the guy got me. I assume I gave the guy my cell phone number. I don't know, but I occasionally get just overwrought, upset text messages from a guy who is just absolutely convinced that Donald Trump is a dictator, and shame on me for not being more aggressive and calling him out, and on and on and on and on. And I can't I miss the old Eric, and why won't you take a stand? And he's tearing down the east wing of the White House because he plans to stay. He'll outlast the construction. On and on it goes. And Donald Trump and Steve Bannon are both now suggesting that Trump may want to run again in 2028. Steve Bannon claims they found a way. You know, the way that the theory is, well, Trump will run as J.D. Vance's vice president. Vance will become president and step aside. Right. No person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of president more than once. But this article shall not apply to any person holding the office of president when the article was proposed by the Congress, and shall not prevent any person who may be holding the office of president or acting as president during the term within which the article becomes operative from holding the office of president or acting as president during the remainder of such term. Now, what does this actually mean? You can't be president more than twice. If you've taken over the presidency and there's more than half of a term to go, you can only run for the office one more time. The maximum that a person can be president of the United States is 8 years. Now, there are some people who like to speculate that, wait a second, what about the vice president? Why can't you become the vice president and then you can get elected president of the United States? The person can be pushed out. Well, because the qualifications for vice president of the United States are that the vice president must meet the same qualifications as the president of the United States. And since a president can't hold office for more than 8 years, a vice president who becomes president no longer meets the qualifications because you can't be president, you can't be vice president without meeting the qualifications for president, with the exception of the 8 years. So you become vice president, you're allowed to then become president and serve up to 8 years. But if you become vice president and you've already served for 8 years as president, you're disqualified from being vice president because you must meet the qualifications of being the president of the United States. This isn't hard stuff. But you have this absolute meltdown from all sorts of people about Donald Trump suggesting he's going to run for a third term. He's going to be a dictator. You know, first of all, let's just say this. If Donald Trump decides to run for a third term, he's got to get elected. So then what you have to do is you have to take it to the next step, is that he will rig the election somehow. Donald Trump will be able to rig the election. Now, let's talk about that for a second. This is the same reason I maintain that the 2020 election wasn't stolen, but I realize there are those of you who disagree. However, here's the problem. The swing states change every few years, generally about a decade. You go to different swing states. 10 years ago, Georgia, the state of Georgia, was not a swing state. It is now. 10 years ago, Florida was a swing state. It's not now. 10 years ago, Iowa was a swing state, as was Ohio. Neither of those are really swing states now. The swing states are now Georgia and Arizona, Nevada, and Pennsylvania remains a swing state. Wisconsin, Michigan, those are swing states. They change. So you've got to be able to determine which states are the swing states and where in those states you will deploy resources to steal the vote that is going to survive some sort of audit path. Take Pennsylvania, for example. I forget how many counties are in Pennsylvania, but every county in Pennsylvania determines its method of voting. In some states, like Georgia, the state has a uniform statewide voting practice. In Pennsylvania, every single county gets to determine the method it wishes to use to vote. So if you're going to steal the election, then you've got to learn each of those methods if Pennsylvania is still a swing state. You can't just do the popular vote because, we've got the Electoral College. These sorts of things matter. So then apparently the next theory is that they're going to march the National Guard in and they're just going to steal the election, or they're going to cancel the election, and that's not going to happen. Do you think California is going to allow that? Do you think the Supreme Court's going to allow that? It's just madness reigning within the minds of people who hate Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is using this, and they have taken the bait yet again. It is not a coincidence the President of the United States brought up a third term in 2028 after the inflation number came in higher than expected. The inflation numbers, I might add, from Donald Trump's own staff, because the government shut down, and these are the yes men of the administration releasing the data that actually is not good. Inflation is at 3%, slightly less than they were expecting, but still much higher than it should be. And what does Donald Trump do? Suggests he's going to get a third term. What do the Democrats decide to talk about? Not inflation. Not the cost of living. They decide to go all in on 2028 because Steve Bannon brought it up and Donald Trump got asked about it, and Donald Trump refuses to walk it back. This is Axios. President Trump refused to rule out an unconstitutional bid for a third presidential term on Monday, but floated a potential ticket of Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio. Trump and his allies have repeatedly teased a third term for the already twice-elected president. However, the 22nd Amendment says no person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice. Steve Bannon, a MAGA podcaster and former Trump advisor, turned heads in a recent interview with The Economist by suggesting there was a plan for Trump to stay in office. I haven't really thought about it, he told reporters on Air Force One. Trump claims he has the best poll numbers he's ever had. He said if Rubio and Vance formed a group, they'd be unstoppable, but the president added, I'd love to do it. I have the best numbers ever. When pressed if he would rule out a third term, he'd say, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. So here's where this will head. The Vance-Rubio ticket is the shadow government, and Donald Trump will pull the strings behind the scenes, and he won't go anywhere. You know what? I have bad news for all of you. Donald Trump cannot avoid the ultimate term limit, which is death. He can't avoid it. No one can. None of us can avoid death. Even that creepy dude, he keeps trying to make himself younger and is just getting blood injected. Oh, that guy's just weird. Weird, creepy. There's something wrong with him. Just grow old gracefully. Stop having plastic surgery. Learn to accept it. Donald Trump is term limited by life itself, and he doesn't have much longer to go at his age, but also he's term limited by the Constitution. And what the Democrats have done, just again, think about this. On Friday, the inflation numbers came back higher than they should be. It puts the Federal Reserve in a conundrum. Inflation is still higher than they want it to be, and yet they want to cut interest rates again. The economy is showing all sorts of signs of underneath the hood, there are problems. And instead of talking about that, instead of talking about grocery prices, instead of talking about beef prices, instead of talking about any of that sort of stuff, the Democrats, they decided to go off on Trump's third term. And I'm getting emotional text messages from people who I don't even know, who have my cell phone that, see, he's going to stay. I told you he was going to stay. What are you going to do? Stand up and say something. He's not going to stay. The Constitution's stronger than any one man, including Donald Trump. I actually think that the people who are convinced Donald Trump is going to have a third term, they actually take a smaller view of the American Republic than I do. I think they're upset Donald Trump got elected the first time. I think they're really upset that more people voted for Donald Trump than voted for Kamala Harris, that it's a damning indictment on the American people. They would vote for a man like that. I don't really care. But these people care greatly, and they're deeply upset about it. And Trump is playing the game. It's like the White House tearing down the East Wing. You know, the Democrats, I'm convinced the Democrats went overboard with that because they didn't want to talk about the government shutdown. The Democrats poured all of their emotional energy into the tearing down of the East Wing of the White House. I saw some Democratic strategists say it was like 9/11 all over again. Apparently, President Trump put 2,700 Americans inside the East Wing and tore it down on top of them. It's just like 9/11. These people are emotionally unhinged. But by talking about it, they didn't have to talk about the Nazi in Maine the Democrats are supporting. They didn't have to talk about Jay Jones in Virginia, who, by the way, there is a criminal investigation happening in Virginia now. A special prosecutor has been retained to investigate Jay Jones because, you know, the bigger scandal was always not the text message, but he used his community service hours working on his own campaign and had people lie about it. He's being investigated. But the Democrats didn't have to talk about that. They didn't have to talk about the government shutdown. They haven't had to talk about any of that. They could scream about the East Wing of the White House. The president wanted to get it done while Congress is distracted, so he was happy for them to be distracted by it. But I'm telling you, it was all done by design. Get the Democrats distracted. And the Democrats, of course, took the bait because they didn't want to talk about the shutdown. But now with this, who cares what the 22nd Amendment says? They're convinced he's going to be a third term, and they're not talking about inflation. Every single thing, and this is the wild thing about the Democrats generally. The government is shut down. The Republicans say, and truthfully, the Democrats want to give health care to illegal aliens. What do the Democrats do? They make it about health care. They don't make it about the tariffs. The Democrats could have made the shutdown about standing up to the president and the tariffs. They would have plenty of arguments between the Chinese and the Canadians and everyone else. But the Democrats don't want to make the shutdown about tariffs. They don't want to make the shutdown about the economy. They don't want to make the shutdown about anything relevant to people's lives right now. They want to make it about a health care plan they themselves voted to get rid of. And then the inflation numbers come in on Friday, and the Democrats decide to make it about Trump in a third term. These people are incompetent. The Democratic Party is incompetent. The economic data is giving them issues. Trump is giving them issues. And what are they doing instead? They are taking the bait every single time to distraction, to not talk about other things. Donald Trump lives rent-free in their head, and he is controlling the Democratic Party. If he does something, the entirety of the Democratic Party moves in reaction to it. They can't think for themselves. They got to wait for Trump to posit a thought and then be against it if he's for something, or for something if he's against it. That's the way the Democrats have structured their operation right now. And that's not the way you actually win elections. That's not the way you win anything. It's just the way you fundraise, which is their problem.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1220 Cool Day Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Stalled big rig still in the second right lane in Norcross, 85 south before Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. Looking for new trouble in the Midtown on I-85 southbound before the ramp to 75 north. Over on the west side, trouble in the right lane, 20 eastbound past Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. And a crash still in the left lane, 285 northbound the Interloop at Bolton Road. Traffic brought to you by Staples. Have you heard? The Staples Easy button is back with even more easy. Press it for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Staples, that was easy. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The U.S. is investing up to $1 billion to fight the spread of bird flu.
At the top and bottom of every hour.
Traffic congestion around Metro Atlanta continues to cost commuters.
And when it breaks.
The suspect is in critical condition after being struck multiple times.
Check back 3, 4, 5 times a day for the latest.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
This is Scott Slade, updating my health story. I get a checkup every year, and last September, my primary care physician was troubled by a suspicious number on my lab work. Well, that led to a diagnosis early enough to give me options, and I'm more optimistic than ever about a good outcome. Now, when we're talking about our health, level with your providers if you think you have a problem. We all need expert eyes looking us over every so often. That's where virtual imaging can be invaluable. Virtual Imaging's LDCT body scan can give you time and options for early treatment, especially for cancer. They can detect tumors as early as precancerous virtually anywhere in your body, and aneurysms you may not even know are there. For a limited time, Virtual Imaging is extending their core body scan offer for only $995 per scan. That's a $2,495 value. Early detection saves lives, and now it's more affordable than ever. Virtual Imaging has gotten such great response, they've opened up more times in both offices. But appointments will fill up fast for this offer, so don't wait. Some minimum requirements may apply. Early detection is your best protection. To schedule your virtual imaging $995 core body scan, call 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com. That's virtualimagingatl.com. Do it now, while you still have options.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
When you come home after being away, you see your home with fresh eyes. And eventually, you'll roll up to your old garage door and finally notice how chipped and faded that rusty old slab really is. But that's the first thing people see when they come visit. A 250 square foot bent aluminum lime green garage door that also squeaks. Welcome to our home. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our design consultants can help you find a strong, quiet, modern garage door that anyone would be proud to come home to. Modern materials that won't crack, dent, or fade. In contemporary styles that showcase your home's design. Call Mo Better Garage and let us show you just how joyful arriving back home can be.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Challenge Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Challenge Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
He may not tell you what you want to hear, but he tells you what you need to hear. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Hello. How are you? It's Erick Erickson, 877-973-7425. It's a wonderful day today. It's a wonderful day. It is stormy outside. It's pouring down rain where I am. My office is an ice box. They haven't rolled over the heat yet. I'm going to have to turn on my floor heater in here. But it's a wonderful day. It is an absolutely glorious day. It's the best day of the year so far. Brian Kelly is out of a job at LSU. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. Praise Jesus. Finally, they have sought to dispatch Brian Kelly from Cajun country back to whence he came, where he no longer has to do the bad pretend Cajun accent. It's a great day, America. Yes, I told Brooke Rollins on Friday I knew A&M was going to beat LSU. They've been doing that the last few years since Brian Kelly got there. That first half of the game, I knew it was false hope. LSU got ahead, went into halftime, and I thought, I'm not going to watch it because I know where this is going. It's like Georgia doesn't show up for a football game until after until the second half of the game. LSU under Brian Kelly goes to sleep after the first half. I don't know, but he's out of a job. I realize we're not sports talk here today, but my gosh. And he's going to make over $26,000 per day from LSU for the next 6 years doing nothing. So he won't be too upset about it. Good grief. What an abomination. Glad that's over. It's a great day in America. Brian Kelly's out of a job. All right, I got to move on. We actually do have real other news to cover. But first, I need to tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. You can get 3 of them. You can save $200. Get it for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. You can go down to Death Valley and plug them in and get rid of the stench of the old coach. They wipe out odors. They kill every odor because they generate ozone, and ozone touches the ionized particulate in the air you and I know as an odor, and it neutralizes them, so no odor can stand up to it. And because ozone's a gas, just like the odor, it can go where the odors live and originate and get them there and wipe them out, and it just works. And you get 3 of them, and you save $200. You get them for less than $200. You go to EdenPureDeals.com. Eden like the Garden of Eden, pure as the driven snow. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code ERICK3, E-R-I-C-K, the number 3, no space. ERICK3 at EdenPureDeals.com. You can thank me later. They're small, they're portable. You can plug them into the wall or with USB cord. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code is ERICK3. When we come back, there's been a new internal autopsy of the Democratic Party and why they keep losing. And you all know the answer, but I'm going to tell you the story anyway.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. A road collapse in Clayton County. Crews from Forest Park Public Works Department on the scene right now. This is at Longleaf Drive and Pine Creek Road. Clayton County also on the scene. It's not clear what caused the road to collapse, but pictures from the scene show the entire roadway caved in. Drivers are being urged to avoid the area, and there's traffic messes all across the metro area thanks to today's rain. We'll check in with Alex Williams of the 24-hour traffic center in just a matter of minutes, so stay close. All this rain is going to be with us throughout the day, says Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz. Period of rains could be heavy at times, he says. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. Hurricane Melissa is a Category 5 storm now as it barrels towards Jamaica with winds of up to 160 miles an hour. Officials are concerned that the slow speed of the storm could mean it impacts the island for 24 hours. Jason Allen is in the capital of Kingston and says officials have updated advice for folks who are there now.
They're telling them stay where they are. It's too difficult to get around at this point. There are shelters available around the city, but very, very few people in them to this point. Most people want to ride it out where they live and protect their belongings.
Be sure and stay with us. We'll continue to track the storm for you. Patience wearing thin for government workers who are out of a job as a result of the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson blaming Democrats for the impasse, saying Democrats are fearful of a particular contingent of their base.
They're doing it to appease their far-left Marxist base. That's the headline. That's why. That's why we're all in this mess. That's why the American people are suffering pain.
Senate Democrats have been holding out, citing the need to extend expiring health insurance subsidies, but the American Federation of Government Employees saying both parties have made their point, and now's the time to end the shutdown. And Carter's, the Atlanta-based children's clothing company, says it'll be closing 150 stores nationwide. The closures will be spread out over roughly 3 years, with the first 100 stores to close over the remainder of this year and next. Additionally, 15% of staff at the company will be laid off. It's 12:32.
If you're seeing cracks in the walls upstairs, downstairs, or outside, maybe even a door not closing, call the Foundation Repair Specialist. Hi, it's Mark Beckham here with Atlanta Ramjack, and we are your leading foundation repair experts. Set up your free estimate right now at atlantaramjack.com.
The holidays are approaching, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping on the buy one, get one deals each week. Hey, it's Mark Aram. Yeah, there are BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. I love going in there and just following the yellow brick road of BOGOs. Save when you shop with the latest buy one, get one free items, deals on your favorites, and make sure you check out the BOGO deals before you shop. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
At Coosa Valley Credit Union, we don't sacrifice customer service for technology. That's why we offer all the modern banking tools you expect with the friendly, caring service you deserve. This is Andy Harris, and at Coosa Valley Credit Union, you really can have both. We're local, we're kind, and we're here for you.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As Director of Diamond Sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather. Here's Alex Williams.
Still dealing with a stalled big rig in Norcross, 85 southbound, Jimmy Carter Boulevard, exit 99. It's in the second right lane. Now we have a crash, 285 westbound, the outer loop, Ashford Dunwoody Road, exit 29. At least one lane blocked there. Delays back toward Peachtree Boulevard. Crash cleared, all lanes open, 285 northbound, the outer loop, or inner loop, I should say, at Bolton Road. And a stalled big rig in the right lane, I-20 eastbound past Fulton Industrial Boulevard, exit 49. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Will stay overcast with periods of showers today. Overcast tomorrow, just a 20% chance of rain, high 57.
More news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very happy to have you on the program today. At the top of the hour, former Senator Kelly Loeffler, now the head of the Small Business Administration, is going to join us. They've had a major crackdown on employers abusing the H-1B visa program. And also, if you're a small business and you are expecting money from the government, you're not going to get it thanks to the Democrats' shutdown of the government. It is kind of weird, is it not? It is October 27th, and the government is still shut down. And on a day-to-day basis, though, how many of you really feel it? I suspect very few. I mean, now, if you're a government employee, again, you're not getting a paycheck. I get that. But FAA staffing is becoming a problem in Los Angeles and a few other airports. They're slowing down flights. I've got a trip November 7th, that Friday. I've got to go out to Las Vegas, actually, to give a speech. And I'm hoping that the airport will be, government will be open by then, because otherwise TSA and Atlanta can have some issues, and I would really like to not have to deal with those issues. But other than that, I mean, the mail is getting delivered. Social Security checks are going out. In fact, Social Security cost of living is going to go up next year. They made that decision while the government is closed. The military got paid due to a donation from Thomas Mellon, a reclusive billionaire who's a friend of Donald Trump's. He made a $130 million donation. I mean, life is going on, people. Life is going on. And you're now got John Fetterman and federal employees union saying, hey, it's time to open up the government. I don't know whether the government's going to open or not. We'll see when the Democrats decide to do it. It's all on the Democrats. The Republicans are not going to ditch the filibuster. We'll see how they proceed. Dave Weigel at Semaphore has a piece on the Democrats, and there are a couple of takeaways here. Let me read you part of this. Democrats have badly weakened their party with left-leaning ideas and rhetoric, growing only with self-described white liberals, while losing ground with other voters, according to a new center-left group's report shared first with Semaphore. The group, called Welcome, consulted hundreds of thousands of voters over 6 months for its broad findings, including that 70% of voters think the Democratic Party is out of touch. Most voters, the group found, believe the party over-prioritizes issues like protecting the rights of LGBTQ plus Americans and fighting climate change, while not caring about securing the border or lowering the rate of crime. Welcome began as a PAC in 2022, then founded a nonprofit with the same name for political research. Elected Democrats will receive copies of the report after its Monday publication, followed by events to promote it in D.C. and New York. The report urges party members to abandon some of the progressive language about race, abortion, and LGBTQ issues that Democrats began using after the 2012 election, and recommends the nomination of more candidates willing to vote with Republicans on conservative immigration and crime bills. The Democratic Party better listen for the good of our nation, former Illinois Representative Sherry Bustos, who ran the party's House Campaign Committee when it lost seats in 2020, wrote in her endorsement of the report. Inspired by The Politics of Evasion, an influential 1989 paper that inspired the party's more centrist shift under Bill Clinton, the 70-page Deciding to Win document argues that Democrats must be willing to break with unpopular party orthodoxies. Its prescription for getting the party out of its current wilderness isn't simple: avoidance of both a pivot to corporate centrism and the pursuit of progressive ideological purity. Greg Schultz, who managed Biden's 2020 primary campaign but was replaced for the general election, worked with Welcome to shape the report. For the last 20 years, Democrats have just misunderstood how you actually win elections, he told Semaphore. I thought Biden had proven in the 2020 primary that the base of the Democratic Party is a 58-year-old woman without a college degree. But when you hear people in D.C. say the base, they mean white intellectuals that live in a few coastal cities. The report challenges Democrats' predilections for the interests of highly educated and affluent voters, arguing that their influence may be responsible for the party's closer association with left-wing politics. You think? Okay, this goes on, but I don't have to with this report because you know and I know this is true, and the problem is that too many Democrats will reject it. It's not really a problem for our side, but for the Democratic Party, it's a problem. Look, who are the loudest and most prominent voices in the Democratic Party? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, about to have Zoran Mamdani. You've got Rashida Tlaib in there, and the media keeps putting those people on TV because so many of the people on the TV in the newsrooms of America are so far left, they elevate the left-wing voices of the Democratic Party. After the election in 2024, one of the most prominent Democratic strategists told me the problem for the Democratic Party is it is held hostage by neurotic white women and gay men. And he's not wrong. And that's why the party is going to struggle to connect with voters, because the wealthy, progressive, neurotic white women and gay men do not particularly connect with the middle class. That's just reality. You may not like it, but look at the fawning affection for Pete Buttigieg out there. Pete Buttigieg is literally a thing only white progressive people like. Moderate people don't care for him. Conservatives certainly don't. Black people don't. Hispanic people don't. Pete Buttigieg polls at 0 with black voters. At 0. I mean, what is the whitest thing I can think of other than Pete Buttigieg? Oh, what would the whitest possible thing be? I know, a 50-something balding white retiree with a red Corvette. That is probably one of the whitest things ever. A balding old guy retiree with his older midlife crisis buying a cherry red Corvette. That is probably the whitest thing I can think of. Is there anything whiter than that? I don't know. There might be something whiter than the old bald dude in the midlife crisis buying the cherry red Corvette. And you know what? That guy and his car poll better in the black community than Pete Buttigieg. I mean, think of the whitest thing you can think of, and it polls better than Pete Buttigieg in the black community. Charlie just says, the whitest thing I know is the guy on the microphone right now. Dude, seriously, I can't wear white socks. I'm so white, if I pull up my pants, like, I can't find them to take them off. That's how white I am. And I poll better in the black community than Pete Buttigieg. I've seen my ratings. That's how bad Buttigieg is. And yet, among the progressives of America, they love Pete Buttigieg. Remember, when Kamala Harris got picked, it was white people in the press who were like, she's going to pick Pete Buttigieg. I mean, my goodness gracious. Yeah, I mean, they got what their batteries had failed to deliver them with that thinking process. And yet she did not, because nobody likes Pete Buttigieg. And those people are the ones who have to take this data and try to process it for the Democratic Party. And they're not going to be able to do it. They're not going to be capable of doing it. Because they say, unironically, LGBTQ+. Think about that. It used to be the gay community, and then it was the LGB community, and then it was the LGBT community, and then it was the LGBTQ community. Now it's the LGBTQ+ community. They just keep adding. Somebody finally said, let's just put the plus and be done with it, but you got to say it. If you're progressive, you got to say it. You can't just say the gay community. You can't just say the LGBT community. I personally think they need to rebrand for popularity's sake and be the BLTNG community, because who doesn't love a BLT? But they got to add all the letters in there as well. And they're not going to like that this think tank suggests you got to stop talking about those issues. The climate change freaks, they're going to be upset too, because these people are like, we got to talk about crime and immigration, and we got to side with the Republicans. You cannot side with the Republicans. John Ossoff, the senator from Georgia, who's probably the most endangered Democratic senator, was complaining about the Democratic shutdown, that he can't vote to reopen the government now because he will lose progressive donors, and he needs progressive donors. And by keeping the government shut, he can fundraise and make a lot of money. But if he opens the government, the progressive base will blame him, and it puts him in jeopardy. He's captured by a progressive base that is demanding the government be shut down, and demands that he vote against Israel, and demands that he votes against common sense immigration reform, and demands that he votes against crime policies that would actually make Americans safe. This is where we are. The Democrats are held hostage to progressives. The report is exactly what you and I know it to be, truth, and yet the Democrats aren't going to be capable of processing the truth, because in so doing, their donors will stop giving them money. Because the progressive white people of the world, have you seen Alex Soros? That dude's going to close his checkbook if you abandon his progressive issues. Now, Mark Benioff, all the other major Democrats, Mark Cuban, all of them, they're going to stop funding the Democratic Party. And the funny thing is, the Democrats to this day will look you dead in the eye and tell you the Republicans are the party of the rich. They still believe it. Some of you Democrats listening right now, you really believe the Republicans are the party of the rich. And yet you're the ones held captive to your billionaire donors. The Republicans have connected to the working class and the middle class, and the Democrats have connected to upper-income white neurotic women and gay men. And the neurotic white women's husbands. And their boyfriends, too. The husbands and the wives. And they're detached from everyone else now. So here now, this is the second or third Democratic group. You've got Harry Reid's group, Spotlight or whatever. You've got now Welcome. You've got these multiple groups that have come forward, or Searchlight. You've got these multiple groups that have come forward and said, hey, we have a real problem within the Democratic Party. We have moved so far left. We're spending our time talking about climate change and LGBTQIATTPAIPXYZ issues. And we've gotten bad on crime, and we've gotten bad on immigration. We have to do something. And the progressives in charge, the Bernie Sanders of the world, the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortezes of the world, they're like, shut up. We don't want to hear it. And Chuck Schumer can't lead. Chuck Schumer can't lead because Chuck Schumer's going to get challenged by one of these people. You know, he still hasn't endorsed Mamdani. Hakeem Jeffries is now out endorsing Mamdani and Chuck Schumer's. And have you noticed, by the way, you've now got the leadership of the Democratic Party is distinctly New York City. Distinctly New York City. Less and less in touch with everybody else in the nation. Go watch the old Pace Picante ads. New York City! You're going to be completely out of touch with America. You're not only going to be too progressive, you're going to be too New York. Now, there's nothing wrong with those of you in New York. I'm on the radio in Watertown, New York. I love you people. I'm on in Buffalo, New York. I love you people. But we're talking about New York City here, and New York City and its politicians and the progressive elite of the Brooklynite class are out of touch with even most of the people of New York. They're certainly out of touch with the people of Arizona and Georgia and North Carolina and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Michigan, and those are the real swing states now. You went from having a San Francisco liberal and Nancy Pelosi to two New York City liberals. Harry Reid was from Utah. He was a Mormon. And he understood you couldn't alienate the blue collar, the working class, the middle class. You couldn't do it. But now that the Democrats are actually ensconced within the elite, living among the elite in elite neighborhoods of New York and San Francisco, they've kind of lost touch with the rest of the nation. And here come Democratic political operatives saying, hey, guys, 70% of voters think the Democratic Party is out of touch. And the leadership of the Democratic Party says now, well, that's their fault. That's not our fault. And what does Donald Trump do? Keeps finding the 80-20 issues and putting the Democrats on the 20% side. You know, I have expressed my concerns about the blowing up the boats in the Caribbean. But I still think the policy shift is good. Turns out most Americans do too. It's the white woke liberals who have the biggest problem. The Democrats, yet again, on the side of the drug runners, the drug lords, the drug cartels, the criminals, the illegal aliens. And Donald Trump's on the side of the people. The Democrats are for the theys and the thems. Donald Trump continues to be for you. The ad campaign continues to sell itself. The Democrats need an intervention, and they're not going to get it unless they keep losing elections.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Some better news in Henry County, Stockbridge specifically. The crash just cleared out of the right lane, 75 southbound before Hudson Bridge Road, exit 224. Delays will start to improve there. Heads up on the West Freeway, stalled big rig in the right lane, 20 eastbound before 285. And in Cobb County, power pole repairs shutting down Lower Roswell Road near Pinehurst Lane. You can use Paper Mill or Roswell Road as your alternates. Traffic brought to you by Aleve. Traffic and body pain can slow you down, but don't let the pain stop you. With just one pill, Aleve provides up to 12 hours of pain relief so you can keep moving. Use as directed. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
It's not as bad as it could be.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
Hey, the ladies are at home. Let's smoke cigars.
Eric Von Hessler.
Some sort of cultural affirmation. Yes, I am this kind of man.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, every week on the show, we offer folks something we call the Portfolio X-Ray. I was hoping you could walk us through that process and tell us why the information it uncovers is so powerful.
Yeah, so the reason we love doing the Portfolio X-Ray for you is we do that behind the scenes. Everybody's extremely busy. Nobody wants to waste time in traffic. If you call in, we will ask you for some information via the phone. Once you've given us that information, we go to work and we put all the hours in developing the report. And I commit this to you. The Portfolio X-Ray is eye-opening. At least 90+% of the time, we can find 2 or 3 golden nuggets in there that you were not aware of that we can either change in your current portfolio mix for you. It's called a 401k optimizer. Or if we manage the assets for you, we certainly can recommend how to diversify away from some of the troubling points that are exposed during the Portfolio X-Ray. Once we've got that, then we'll have you in for your initial consultation. We will present the Portfolio X-Ray to you and walk you through the high points of it. And that's a document that you get to take with you. It's like getting a financial physical. So how many of you avoided going to the doctor for the annual physical last year? You do the same thing with your financial life. You ignore it. You keep pumping money into your 401k. You hope that it's going well, and I can tell you that hope is not a good investment or financial planning strategy. You need to know. So if you want to know, call us.
The Portfolio X-Ray is complimentary. Give Hoffman Financial Group a call to schedule yours today. 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Your non-stop news source. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
On the go, take Eric's podcast with you. Available wherever you stream your favorite podcast. Search Eric Erickson.
Howdy, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here at the top of the hour, 5 after the hour. Kelly Loeffler, the SBA administrator, former senator from Georgia, is going to join me to talk about the Small Business Administration and the impact of the government shutdown, as well as some of the fraud investigations that they have been engaged in. She's fantastic. Looking forward to it. I got a confession. I have not decorated for Halloween. And normally I would, but my kids are old enough now. I may put out a bucket of candy in the front of the house and just let people get it. I've done full-size candy bars in the past, and I'm not doing that this year. I don't even want to stand outside and hand out the candy on Friday. I don't know. My kids have stopped, and I'm always a little bit perturbed now how many people go out of their way to decorate for Halloween and not for Christmas, and I go all out for Christmas, and it's just really weird to me, and I may actually stand outside and put up a statue of Martin Luther. It is going to be Reformation Day. It was Reformation Day before it was Halloween. Should nail some theses to the front door of my house and call it an evening, but I'll put out a bucket of candy, I guess, and the candy's got expensive. You know, there's a tariff on chocolate, so Halloween candy is more expensive this year. Because we don't produce a lot of chocolate in this country. A lot of cacao beans, they have to be imported from elsewhere. So the tariffs got the candy budget off. Although I did notice in the last 2 years, the kids these days, they want more of the sour garbage. They don't want chocolate. They've got no taste. They want the sour candy. And I'm just like, no, no, that's gross. Sour Patch Kids, gross. No, eat some chocolate, people. It's better for your heart anyway. Milk chocolate, of course, not dark chocolate. I'm not weird. Now, we got to talk about Hillsdale College. EricForHillsdale.com is the website. ERICK. EricForHillsdale.com. You go there and you can take one of Hillsdale's great classes for free. In fact, you can take the class on capitalism, which is like 7 30-minute episodes. I say episodes because they're classes. But each course is broken down into 30-minute episodes, and depending on the class, depends on the number of them. So I know the capitalism one has 7. There's actually one on Aristotle that I think has 10 30-minute episodes, and they're done by the great faculty at Hillsdale College. They're educational. They're informative. You're not going to get bored with it, and you're actually going to learn something valuable. It's education. It's not indoctrination, and there's no cost. It is zero cost to you. What you do is you go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Take one of the classes. I recommend the C.S. Lewis class as well. And then once you have done that, start taking the class, watch the videos, enjoy it. ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up today.
More local news.
Full ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile, Governor Kemp reacting.
Interloop injury crash, 2 left lanes.
More weather.
This thunderstorm is capable of producing a quick spin up.
Atlanta's morning news. Tomorrow morning at 5.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the cost of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless. Because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We're going to start with this. It's happening now. A road collapse in Clayton County. Crews on the scene as we speak. This is at Longleaf Drive and Pine Creek Road in Forest Park. And we have just been on the line with Director of Public Works with Forest Park, Alton Matthews. He tells us what caused that road to cave in.
Based on assessment and collaboration with Clayton County, a water line, 6-inch cast iron water line had broke.
Now, drivers are urged to avoid that area. The road will be closed at least through tonight. But no matter where you are in the metro area, today's rain is impacting your drive. Let's turn now to Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, Sabrina. Yeah, very messy out there on the wet pavement, and we're sounding a brand new travel advisory. Crash in Clarkston, 285 northbound, the outer loop at Church Street, exit 40. 2 left lanes are blocked there. Quickly going to slow back to Memorial Drive, head through downtown as an alternate. Heads up in Cobb County, Marietta, a crash brought down a power pole. It's got Lower Roswell Road shut down between Pinehurst Lane and Crossgate Drive. This might not get fixed until 5 p.m. today, so think about using the regular Roswell Road or Old Canton Road or a Shadow Lawn as some alternates there. More in minutes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
All right, sounds like it could be a messy drive home, so you'll want to stay with us or check back for traffic updates this afternoon. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast with Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz coming up in just a matter of minutes. But this rain that you're seeing now is going to stay with us throughout the rest of the day. Hurricane Melissa is a monster storm now, a Category 5. Evacuate now. Jamaica, Cuba, and the Bahamas, all in the path of Hurricane Melissa. Some travelers stranded like this woman who's from Atlanta. She's in Jamaica and's been trying to get home since Friday.
They're blocked out flights all week.
Now, Melissa is a Category 5 hurricane, and it is being called life-threatening. The Trump administration continuing to escalate military pressure against Venezuela. Several U.S. Navy vessels have been sent to the region. Venezuelan officials say that it's a hostile provocation and threatens peace in the region. The U.S. saying this is all part of the fight against drug trafficking. Senior National Security Correspondent Charlie D'Agata.
They have sent the kind of military assets into that region if you were about to prepare for something like land strikes.
Now, U.S. defense officials say some of the U.S. Navy ships in the region have been repositioned to avoid the direct path of Hurricane Melissa, but they are still on active deployment. And Atlanta-based children's clothing retailer Carter's is planning more layoffs and job cuts.
Carter's CEO Doug Palladini says tariffs are a significant factor in the decision to lay off about 15% of its corporate staff, that's roughly 300 employees, and close 150 North American stores as part of a major cost-cutting plan.
Closing these stores does result in short-term revenue loss, but historical perspectives suggest there will be offsetting sales transfer benefits.
Carter's expects to save about $35 million a year from the layoffs, and the company is also reducing its product offering by 20 to 30% to streamline supply chain processes. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
It's 103.
Looking for your next great adventure? At Capital Investment Advisors, we know travel isn't just a vacation. It's a core pursuit that fuels happiness. In fact, research shows happy retirees pursue nearly twice as many adventure-related core pursuits as unhappy retirees. That's why we created 101 trips to take in retirement. A free guide with luxury escapes, wellness retreats, cultural immersions, and trips for the grandkids. Download your copy today at yourwealth.com/101trips.
Stay comfortable at home all year long with Jape Services. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and our team has decades of experience servicing Atlanta's heating and cooling needs, which means you can count on us. We're licensed, insured, and I personally guarantee when you call Jape Services, you'll be treated just like family. Call us 24/7 or book online at japeservices.com. That's JAPE services.com.
Jape Services.
Scott Slade here to talk to you about your health, and I think it's real important to talk about what is most likely to kill you.
Heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans, and the older we get, the more prevalent it is. But you can reduce your risk. Eat right, don't smoke, exercise, and be informed about what's going on in your own body. Like lots of potentially serious health problems, if you catch heart disease early, you vastly increase your chances of living a longer life. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. Virtual imaging scans take less than 10 minutes and screen with 98% accuracy for heart disease. Other scans, including brain and full body, are available too. Virtual imaging is locally owned and operated in Atlanta for over 15 years, so they can make you this terrific offer. A complimentary heart scan for you and your spouse with a few minimum requirements. So don't put this off. I've done it. Call Virtual Imaging today for your free heart scan. 770-678-SCAN. That's 770-678-7226. Or visit their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
At Shane Company, we've been engagement ring experts for almost 100 years. We have the largest selection of diamonds and gemstones in stock. You don't have to wait to compare them side by side. Find the one that speaks to you at shaneco.com or in store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
All right, live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Travel advisory, crash 2 left lanes in Clarkson, 285 northbound, the outer loop, Church Street, exit 40. You're already slow back to Memorial Drive. Stalled big rig in the center lane in Marietta, 75 southbound at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. And don't forget, power lines down, shutting down lower Roswell Road, just west of Shadowlawn Road. Use Shadowlawn or Roswell Road north of there as alternates. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Will stay overcast with periods of showers today. Overcast tomorrow, just a 20% chance of rain, high 57.
More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists across America. It is Eric Erickson here from Coast to Coast. Glad to have you with me. The phone number, 877-973-7425. If you text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you get the live stream, the podcast, the show notes, the 24/7 stream, where you can hear on repeat for the next 24 hours my conversation with my next guest, the administrator of the Small Business Administration, the former senator from the state of Georgia, and a friend of mine, Kelly Loeffler, joining me by phone. If I can push the button there. There we go. How are you?
Hi, Eric.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for doing this. So, what's it like to be the head of the SBA?
I love it. It's really become a dream job because it really blends everything together that I've been working toward my whole life. It's starting from a very young age, too, growing up in a small business. So it's amazing. I miss being in Georgia, though.
Yeah, you do seem to be the perfect fit for this, given your background. And I know one of the things you wanted to talk about, and I'll get to that in just a second, is the shutdown. But you've also made headlines in the last couple of weeks with some fraud investigations, which, when I was a lawyer, I did a lot of small business setups and had to navigate the SBA, and was always stunned by the clear opportunities for fraud that some people can have. And it seems like you guys have been putting the spotlight on some that really does exist.
We got to work on it on day one. There's a lot to do, but we're starting to pull back the covers on it. So stay tuned. More to come. This is just the start.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. So now let's talk about the Small Business Administration during a shutdown. There's not a whole lot you guys can do, and there are a lot of businesses that need your help but can't get it right now, I would imagine.
Well, you're exactly right, Eric, because the federal government being shut down means that here's what it means is the momentum that the SBA had achieved under President Trump and the agenda that everyone saw taking place, GDP growth, jobs, inflation growing slower than wages finally after 4 years, has come to a screeching halt because the Democrats have shut down not just pay for federal workers, for our military, but they've shut down SBA lending. That means about 320 small businesses every day will not be getting an SBA-backed loan at their community lender. That totals about $170 million a day that's not flowing into Main Streets. And so far, that's impacted roughly 6,000 small businesses, and it's approaching $4 billion in economic fallout for Main Street. And really, that's what this is about. It's about a Main Street impact that is going to be felt everywhere, including in states where Senate Democrats are purposely keeping the government shut to have an adverse economic impact on the people that live there.
Well, and let's make that a little more personal for you and me, both of us being from Georgia. You've got Warnock and Ossoff now continuing to vote against reopening the government. I got to imagine, you said, 328 a day? Surely there got to be a number here in Georgia that are going to be hurting.
Well, that's right. It's $35 million every week in Main Street lending that is not getting done in Georgia. And so when you see Ossoff and Warnock voting to keep the government closed, that means keep Main Street hurting. And Main Street had just come back from 4 years of massive inflation, excessive regulation, the threat of high taxes. And President Trump comes in, the administration, we get the working family tax cuts done, we're deregulating, energy prices are down, and then Democrats slam the door on them. So that's playing out in Georgia, and I see it especially down in Warner Robins by the Air Force Base. 20,000 civilian workers are furloughed right now. The Main Street businesses are hurting because people, let alone needing to buy groceries, they're not going out and doing other things like restaurants and shopping right as we approach the holiday season. So they're making it very, very painful in Georgia. And in New York, $40 million a week. Schumer's shutting down from New York small businesses. So I don't know what it's going to take for them to realize that they're really hurting people's livelihoods and impacting business that will not come back. This isn't something that you just make up with a paycheck.
So what is your advice to the small businesses that are in this hole now because they can't get money they were expecting from the SBA?
Well, first of all, call your senator if they're voting 12 times like our senators have to keep the government closed. Let them know this has real consequences. But if your senator has voted to keep it open, call Chuck Schumer and let him know this is nonsense. And I spoke in the press conference this morning that Speaker Johnson had, and I said, we need to have the Main Street common sense that prevails there brought to Washington because there's no common sense. I don't know what the motivation of Senate Democrats are. It's not clear what they're working toward. But it's very clear what our military is working toward. They want to keep our country safe, but they're not getting paid. It's very clear that women want to feed their infants and children, but their benefits run out on Friday. So Democrats haven't explained what their motivations are other than bowing to the far left wing of the socialist Marxist wing of the party that wants to inflict as much damage on the American people as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've expected it to go on for some time, but here as we get to November 1st, I saw that one of the Democratic congresswomen is saying how cruel it is for Republicans to be denying women access to benefits to feed their children. And I think it was on CNN, and even the CNN anchor was like, well, why aren't the Senate Democrats reopening it? It seems like the Democrats are trying to talk about anything other than the thing they're doing. And it's also kind of weird that they want to get the benefit of the shutdown from their base, but they don't want to get any blame from the American public and blaming the Trump administration as opposed to just owning what they're doing. It's the weird world of politics these days.
Well, and there's real world consequences of that, which is $15 billion of economic impact. That plays out on Main Street. It's 43,000 jobs every month lost that plays out on Main Street. So these all have real world consequences while they're not living in the real world and not having to deal with the consequences because they view it as a paycheck that when everyone comes back, they'll just get a paycheck. Well, the damage is much more extensive and we live in risky times today, and to not fund the military, I think, is egregious. It's immoral, and hopefully we can end this before the end of the week. But there's no signs of a thaw right now.
Right. Yeah, just aggravating. So, okay, let's pull back the curtain, I guess, a little bit on your job right now. What does it look like inside the Small Business Administration with so many of your employees not even able to work? I mean, what's going on in the office on a daily basis right now?
Well, it's a great question. We can do one thing, which is disaster recovery. And that's obviously very critical that we're there for Americans when they stumble into hard times like a disaster, which is something that they didn't bring on themselves. And that's what the federal government's there to do. Our disaster efforts here at the SBA are led by Chris Stallings. You might recognize his name from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
He ran the disaster response effort for the state of Georgia. He's done a fantastic job. I'm actually heading to Alaska tomorrow for a quick visit there to see how the disaster relief efforts are coming, that the SBA is the largest disaster lender in the federal government. I'll be there on the ground for a few hours and ensuring that they know that it is vitally important to the Trump administration that the pain that the Democrats want to inflict on the American people does not extend to those facing their most challenging moments. So that's what we're doing. And then, we have many people at the agency still at work, though we're not getting paid, but still doing the work because disaster requires a number of different departments to support it. So we're staying busy, but we're also ready to reopen as soon as we possibly can.
Well, that's good to hear. Well, listen, thank you for spending some time with me. I would love to have you back when you guys have more on these fraud investigations that have come up, because I just know from when I was a lawyer, seeing the way this played out so often, and also the number of people who wanted to have minorities and women claiming to run businesses that weren't actually there just so they could take advantage of it. I'm sure there's so much there, and I think you're the first SBA administrator in quite a while who's really dug into this to root out the fraud. So I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, we'll be talking more about it, but we do have a whistleblower hotline, so you can contact our Inspector General if you know of fraud happening in the federal government. I made a commitment on day one that we would look at COVID-era fraud, contracting fraud across the entire lending fraud, the entire agency, to ensure that taxpayers get the accountability they deserve from those that try to defraud them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, and my best to your husband as well. It's always good to hear from you.
Thank you, Eric. Take care.
You too. Kelly Loeffler, the SBA administrator. Fantastic. Just a great fit for that job. She and her husband are super people as well. And with the shutdown of the government, you heard her say 328 businesses a day will go without getting SBA loans that they need to survive, and they're not going to be able to survive in some cases. And oftentimes, banks, lending operations, and others will cut them a break due to the government shutdown because they know it's not their fault, and they will do what they can to make sure that those businesses survive and allow them to pay later, understanding the situation. But it's still difficult for these businesses, and those are the businesses now starting to have trouble. And as I've said repeatedly over the last month, it's hard to remember the government is shut down on a regular basis because you don't feel it, but these businesses are starting to. And starting on Saturday, SNAP benefits run out. Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, was with me on Friday pointing that out, that SNAP benefits run out. We're kind of getting to a point, I think, where the Democrats are going to have to start thinking about the government shutdown. This is from Jennifer Slotis at Politico, 6 ways the shutdown's about to get worse. With President Trump traveling abroad and Congress deeply divided over a path to fund federal agencies, a pileup of deadlines on November 1st is set to put many households at new hardship. Popular programs that provide nutrition assistance, early childhood education, and air service to rural communities are now among those about to run out of money. Thousands of federal employees will miss their first full paychecks this week, so services like TSA screenings and air traffic control operations could be further stunted if those workers stop showing up, as was the case during the 35-day partial shutdown that ended in 2019. Things are about to get worse, John Thune warned in a floor speech in the Senate last week. That's to say nothing of the November 1st date that open enrollment begins for the Affordable Care Act. That's when people will start to see just how much their premiums are set to skyrocket because insurers aren't confident Democrats and Republicans will reach a deal to extend enhanced tax credits before they expire at the end of the year. Trump employed a strategic and unprecedented maneuver to alleviate the first major pain point of the shutdown earlier this month when he paid active duty members of the military out of other accounts. Still, the White House has yet to take similar steps to fund several other priorities where payments come due in the coming days. In Congress, some lawmakers are working to mitigate the shutdown's effect on select services with piecemeal bills, but none of those measures are on the fast track to final passage. SNAP food aid runs out November 1st. Federal funding will stop flowing on Saturday to Head Start programs. WIC nutrition assistance will also run out on Saturday. Essential air service to small, often rural communities runs out. Members of the military will miss paychecks on Friday unless the president's able to get this $130 million donation to pay some military salaries. Federal civilian paychecks will also not be issued for the first time this coming Friday. This is where we are. Because the Democrats won't reopen the government, they continue to blame the Republicans. They're relying on a sympathetic press to help them blame the Republicans. But that only gets you so far. They're going to have to open the government, and the time is coming soon. I suspect what the Democrats want is to push the time limit past Affordable Care Act re-ups so people see the sticker shock and then scream at the Republicans. The Republicans say, well, we had a plan to fix this, but you kept the government closed, Democrats. Pass the blame game in Washington.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
120 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory in Clarkston. Crash 285 northbound, the outer loop, Church Street, exit 40. 2 left lanes are blocked. You're slow before Memorial Drive. Think about your alternate surface streets over there or head into downtown. Stalled big rig still in a center lane in Cobb County. I-75 southbound in Marietta, but at Windy Hill Road, exit 260. That's causing brake lights back to South Marietta Parkway. Traffic brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster.com is a family business making customs, blinds, shades, and shutters. Give them a try and see why over 1 million windows have trusted Blindster. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
We've all been
Jam
there.
starting at Langford Parkway.
Counting the minutes before we know we're going to be late because we couldn't count on a traffic app.
Jammed from I-85 down towards Ponce.
There is one thing you can count on. Triple team traffic on WSB.
Stay slow once you're inside the perimeter as well.
We know the highways. We know the streets. And we know the shortcuts.
75 northbound heading up to Cobb County through Marietta and Kennesaw.
And all you need to do is listen.
More experience.
More reliable. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB. How Atlanta gets there.
You've thought about assisted living for your parents, but maybe the right answer is renovating your home and having mom or dad move in. I'm Richard, Chief Architect at Sketch House, where we create custom architectural drawings for homeowners looking to remodel. Why get drawings first? You'll know what's possible. You'll be able to get pricing and compare builders apples to apples, and builders love drawings. You'll get bumped to the top of their list with drawings in hand. Let Sketch House help you make a decision about your aging parents at a fixed price. Visit sketchhouse.com. That's sketch, HAUS.com.
2 houses, same neighborhood, nearly identical. But one had an orchard sign, and it sold for way more. So what happened? Well, the first homeowner used a traditional agent, and after weeks of sitting on the market, price drops, and mounting frustration, they settled for less than they'd hoped for. The second homeowner chose Orchard. Their local orchard agent didn't just list the home, they knew how to market it properly. They knew which upgrades would attract serious buyers, brought in pros to handle the prep, and position the home to sell for top dollar. And thanks to Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program, that homeowner moved into their new place before the old one even hit the market. No showings, no disruptions, no living in limbo. That's the difference. Never settle for less. Get more with Orchard. Start with a free home valuation at orchard.com. That's orchard.com.
Starting a business takes grit and fortitude, but to keep it going requires taking care of customers like family. That's our motto, and my family's been sticking to it for decades. Hi, this is Daniel Jape, and you can count on Jape Services to provide quality care and price transparency for your home's heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. At Jape Services, we're a family-run business, and I personally guarantee to treat you like family as well. JapeServices.com.
Jape Services.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, sorry, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
Finding trustworthy people to properly fix your septic system can seem hopeless. Hi, I'm Shannon, owner of Scorpion Septic. Don't give up hope. Just read some of our 5-star reviews. Your neighbors know my trustworthy team will solve your septic problems on the spot.
Take the sting out of septic service with Scorpion Septic. Never a pump out charge with your repair. Get a free quote at scorpionsepticservices.com.
ScorpionSepticServices.com. I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why the big wireless companies want you on an unlimited plan? It's because they need you to help cover the costs of the 20-somethings who are using a lot of data every month. Fact is, according to the latest research studies, most people 50 and up, like me, only use 12 gigs or less each month. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. At Consumer Cellular, pick what suits your needs. Whether it's 1 gig, 5, 10, or unlimited, the point is, pay for exactly what you need and nothing more. We use the same towers as the big guys, but since we don't own and maintain them, we can pass the savings on to you. Our plans start at just $20 a month, and you'll get the best customer service in the business. I want to invite you to join the millions of people who choose something better than big wireless, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Welcome back. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. 877-973-7425 is the phone number. Those of you on the phones, be patient with me. This is a short segment. I'll get to your phone calls when we come back. We got a lot more happening out there today, including there's the story I actually want to get to when we come back, that the Democrats actually, now it's not just the upper income white progressives that have taken over the party, it's that those people actually aren't religious. And the Democrats now have a religion problem with non-white voters. Because if you're a non-white voter, you are more churched than upper-income progressives, and those upper-income progressives speak in a way that other people can't relate to. It's actually very interesting how the data is playing out for the Democrats, and it's not good data for the Democrats as they continue to be more and more out of touch. There's also an amazing story out of California. Scott Wiener, the very progressive Democrat out there from San Francisco, is running against Nancy Pelosi, authored legislation several years ago, and that legislation has enabled human trafficking of children, which at the time people warned would happen, and he was very insistent it wouldn't, and it did. Now, it's not a coincidence that this story is dropping right now, because he's decided to run against Nancy Pelosi, and she's not quite ready to leave Congress, it seems. I don't think it's a coincidence at all that this story has suddenly dropped that makes him look like an enabler of human trafficking. Doesn't make him look like he actually is. Now, with banks out there having problems, have y'all seen the regional bank forecast now? Not looking good for a lot of regional banks out there because of lending issues. And Swiss America has been sounding the alarm about a secret war on cash. in this assault on our freedom. With soaring interest rates, banks teetering on collapse, Swiss America wants to help you protect your hard-earned assets right now. You can get their report, The Secret War on Cash, completely free by calling or texting 800-289-2646. The all-out war on cash includes digital forms of currency, and it is spreading. Read The Secret War on Cash report completely free. All you do is mention Eric when you call or text 800-289-2646. Just text Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or call them or text them my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Swiss America can get you that report completely for free. Message and data rates may apply. When we come back, the Democrat religion problem, and also they've made some arrests in that Louvre heist.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. In Forest Park, a busy road collapsing today. It was a water main break, we've learned, that caused the road to cave in at Longleaf Drive and Pine Creek Road. Forest Park's Department of Public Works, Anton Matthews, says the road will be closed for a while.
At the current time, because of the rain, it will remain closed throughout the night, and a response team will respond tomorrow to conduct more permanent repairs.
In the meantime, drivers are being rerouted. Channel 2 Action News meteorologist Brad Nitz says periods of rain all day today, highs around 53. Hurricane Melissa is a Category 5 now as it barrels towards Jamaica with winds of up to 160 miles an hour. Officials are concerned the slow speed of the storm could mean it will impact the island for a long time, 24 hours. Correspondent Jason Allen in the capital of Kingston today.
They're telling them stay where they are. It's too difficult to get around at this point. There are shelters available around the city, but very, very few people in them to this point. Most people want to ride it out where they live and protect their belongings.
And we, of course, will continue to track the hurricane for you. Early voting underway for the state Senate seat that was vacated by Democrat Jason Estevez, who's running for governor now. The District 35 seat covers parts of Cobb and Fulton counties. There are a total of 6 candidates vying for the seats, including 4 Democrats, 1 Republican, 1 independent. Early voting runs through November 14th. Election day is 4 days after that. And the number of stillbirths in our country is higher than first thought. About 1 in 150 pregnancies end in a stillbirth. The rate's even higher, 1 in 112, for low-income areas. And that's the findings of researchers at Harvard University, including Jessica Cohen. And she says what's most concerning is that many women had no risk factors.
A substantial proportion of stillbirths that occur in the last gestational weeks, 38 weeks, 39 weeks, 40 weeks, had no identified risk factor at all.
The researchers found that over 70% of stillbirths occurred in pregnancies with at least one identified clinical risk factor like hypertension or diabetes. It's 1:32.
The Findlay Roofing Chief Barking Officer, Rufus, has the zoomies. He's rolling over about saving you $1,000 off your roof replacement. That's a lot of bones. Hey, it's Dave Baker for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Stop repairing the leaks and dragging your feet. For a limited time, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. Schedule your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Save money by getting pre-approved for your next auto loan at Coosa Valley Credit Union. We offer the most competitive interest rates in the market, as low as 3.49 APR when you open an account with direct deposit. This is Andy Harris, President of Coosa Valley Credit Union, inviting you to stop in a branch near you. You'll experience kinder banking with real people, not automation. Plus, with 11 locations in Northwest Georgia, we're always local and nearby.
Contact 706-235-8551 for more details. Equal Opportunity Lender.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Travel advisory in Clarkston. Crash still in 2 right lanes, 285 north, or 2 left lanes, I should say. 285 northbound, the Interloop Church Street at exit number 40. You're slow back toward Memorial Drive on the south side. Big jam, 75 north up into Locust Grove. Crash at times blocking all lanes. Use Highway 155 as your alternate. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Will stay overcast with periods of showers today. Overcast tomorrow, just a 20% chance of rain, high 57.
Cloudy skies, 54 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. More news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here. 877-973-7425 is the phone number. Let's go first to Mark. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Oh, hey, Eric. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Since with the shutdown starting to affect, it is affecting things like TSA and air traffic controllers, since airports do generate revenue, what kind of approach has there ever been taken to having airports either just fund these positions directly or, in the case of a shutdown, to cover the cost temporarily and be reimbursed by the federal government later?
Unfortunately, I do know part of the answer to that question, maybe not the whole answer, but because they're federal employees, you would have to share all of their employment information with the airports, and then that could potentially create a liability issue for the airports. And so they've avoided going down that route as complex, where they want uniform training and uniform standards. So if they let the airports hire their own individual people and stuff like that, they probably should. The other model, so it becomes too much of a complicated bureaucratic nightmare for them to try to do that, and privacy issues for the employees. That being said, what they should do and what they should consider doing is they should do what Canada has done, which is outsource the whole thing to a nonprofit. In Canada, their air traffic control is actually much more responsive, has better quality of life for the employees, and all sorts of stuff, and they are privately funded. Everybody pays a ticket fee, and you go that route, and it works great, and everybody seems to be happy in Canada with the way it works. And in the United States, every time it comes up, the unions are like, "Oh my gosh, we can't do what Canada did," even though actually they have larger land mass to cover with their air traffic control than we do, even as they have fewer people. Pierce, you're going to be up next. Welcome.
Hey, Eric, how you doing this afternoon?
Great. How are you?
Pretty good. I was going to let you know that I have a daughter-in-law that is a clerk with the federal court in Chattanooga who has had to work, so she won't be getting a check Friday. Mm-hmm. And I heard on your flagship station this morning there is a little beginning to see a crack in the Democrat support on the shutdown. The largest federal employee union is telling them we need to do a clear resolution and get the government back open, and made a statement this morning.
I saw that.
And I'm
you've
wondering,
got John Fetterman coming out as well this morning and doubling down as well. In fact, I'm glad you brought that up. So, Pierce, right now, Eric Wasson from Bloomberg is reporting Chuck Schumer has declined to comment on the largest federal union saying it's time to reopen the government. He's not talking about it.
Oh, how convenient.
Yes. Yeah.
Afraid to lose those progressive donors, I guess.
Oh, that's exactly
And
it.
the
I'm
reality
sure he
is-
wants to see what AOC says before he says anything.
Oh God, there's another one.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what gets me. They complain about millionaires, but AOC went into office with a net worth of about $68,000, and as of the end of last year, her net worth was around 12.3. Now you tell me, at $165,000 a year, how do you become so wealthy?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it does make you wonder about that. I mean, look at Nancy Pelosi too and her stock trades and all of that. Lots of questions about that out there. Now, I want to. You mentioned the shutdown. Margaret Brennan, who I'm not a big fan of, I was actually surprised. It doesn't matter what he said. Hakeem Jeffries was on, but you got to listen to this exchange. Just listen to her question.
I want to come back to health care in a moment, but the Treasury Secretary accused you of playing politics personally. And I know that your Democratic whip, Catherine Clark, said on Fox this past week that shutdowns are terrible, but as she put it, it's one of the few leverage items Democrats have. Do you think Democrats are gaining from this fight?
No, our focus continues to be on driving down the high cost of living for everyday Americans. Donald Trump and Republicans promised that they would lower costs on day one. We know costs haven't gone down. They're going up. Inflation is moving in the wrong direction. The Trump tariffs have made life more expensive for the American people to the tune of thousands of additional dollars per year. We know that electricity bills are through the roof. Housing costs are too high. Child care costs are too high. Groceries too expensive. And now tens of millions of Americans are at risk of having their premiums explode. In some cases, by $1,000 to $2,000 per year. That's what this fight for us is all about. Republicans have come up with a new conspiracy theory every week for the last 6 weeks. The Democratic position, Margaret, has been clear. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care.
Well, that was the quote from the whip herself when she said leverage. But I hear you on rising healthcare costs, but the immediate term, people aren't getting paid. 750,000 federal workers are on unpaid leave. 80% of the folks who work on our nuclear program are included in that figure. The Agriculture Secretary said there will be delays in food stamps for many of the 41 million people who rely on SNAP. And then at airports across the country, half of the flight delays, according to the Transportation Secretary, are because of staffing shortages. This pain is real now. So is there a point at which it becomes too great to justify continuing the shutdown?
Oh, the pain is real now. That's Margaret Brennan. Margaret Brennan saying that to Hakeem Jeffries. I guess you probably want to know his response to something like that.
Well, there is an urgent need to reopen the government, which is why we continue to demand that Republicans sit at the negotiating table so we can enact a spending agreement that's bipartisan in nature. That's what we've called for from the very beginning.
But the Republicans are saying they won't do that until you pass the funding bill, the clean funding bill that already passed the House. Why can't Democrats in the Senate get on board with that?
Well, we've made clear, and I'm thankful for the leadership of Chuck Schumer and Senate Democrats, that we were not going to support a partisan Republican spending bill that continues to gut the health care of the American people in an environment where Republicans have already enacted the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. Hospitals, nursing homes, and community-based health centers are closing all across the country. There's the possibility that Medicare could face a $536 billion cut, the largest cut to Medicare in history, if Congress doesn't act by the end of this year because of what Republican policies have done in their one big ugly bill. And now they refuse to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits. That impacts working class Americans, middle class Americans, and everyday Americans throughout the country, including in rural America.
Well, they haven't refused. Leader Thune said he'd even put that up for a vote if you open the government first. But
yeah, look, I mean, the times are changing when at Margaret Brennan's Face the Nation, they're actually willing to answer some tough questions and ask tough questions of these guys on the Democratic Party side. It sounds like we woke up this morning and the headwinds have shifted against the Democrats. You have the largest federal federal employee union coming out saying you got to open the government. You've got John Fetterman now coming out saying it's time to open the government. You've got Margaret Brennan asking Democrats very tough questions about the pain being dealt with right now, and also pointing out that the Republicans could, in fact, put this up for a vote if the Democrats would come back. The Democrats actually don't want to. Remember, the Democrats have voted repeatedly to cut the very benefits they now say they want. On top of that, now you've got a problem for the Democrats, and that is the God gap. This is from Ryan Berg. He writes, I have no idea how the average American thinks about religion and politics. That's just a blind spot academics have. We spend almost every waking moment thinking about these topics, while many other folks don't think about them at all. It's a strange reality to wrap my head around. So my goal in doing all this writing is to give the average person a kind of mental scaffolding to better understand this subject. So here's a true and simple and profound fact saying that 80% of the people who voted for Donald Trump identify as some type of Christian. 48% for Harris. Just 17% of Trump voters identify as atheist, agnostic, or nothing in particular. Nearly half of Democrats or non-religious. In short, it's much easier to deliver a coherent religious message as a Republican candidate than a Democrat. If you're working for the GOP, something along the lines of God, country, and traditional family values resonates with nearly all your voters. For Democrats, it's not that simple. A message of faith and values will probably turn off as many voters as it attracts. But here's what makes things even tougher for modern Democrats. Their religion problem is deeply entangled with race. Essentially, the party now has a large cohort of non-religious white voters alongside a diverse coalition of voters of color who remain deeply religious. Comparing the religious affiliations of Democrats in 2008 versus 2024 makes it very clear. In 2008, the Democratic composition was 50% white. In 50% black Protestants, and now 56% black Protestant. In 2008, it was 67% Hispanic Catholic. Now it's 50% Hispanic Catholic. Among white voters, there were 18% agnostic or atheist in 2008, and now 32%. It's shrinking further or growing in other demographics. So, for example, 8% of Hispanic Democrats were atheist in 2008. Now it's 16%. Among Asians, it went from 21 to 23%. Among black voters, from 5% to 6%. And that's kind of probably the problem there. In 2008, most white voters who supported Barack Obama were religious. By 2024, 55% of white Democrats were non-religious. Only 38% were Protestant or Catholic. Compare that to the shift of black voters. In 2008, 61% were Protestant or Catholic. By 2024, the figure had risen to 64%. Their non-religious share fell slightly from 35 to 31. Among Hispanics, the Christian share dropped from 74 to 62, while the non-religious percentage increased by 12 points. When you collapse these groups into white versus non-white Democrats, the divide is stark. In 2008, 55% of white Democrats were Christian versus 61% of non-white Democrats. White Democrats were more likely to be non-religious. By 2024, the gap had become larger. Only 38% of white Democrats were Christian, while 55% were religious nuns. Among non-white Democrats, 55% were Christian, only 38% were non-religious. Just think about the challenge of a candidate when trying to appeal to a group that's 38% Christian and 55% non-religious, and another that is essentially the opposite. How do you navigate issues like abortion access, or whether teachers should use a child's personal pronouns without parental consent? These groups are not remotely on the same page. The God gap emerges when you look at church attendance as well. Essentially, for every Democrat who goes to church now, there are 6 who don't. So the non-white coalition of the Democrats goes to church, believes in God, and doesn't want boys and girls bathrooms. The white part of the coalition, which is growing, does. And the Democrats are catering to that white part of the coalition. This is a problem for Democrats moving forward because they're going to have to navigate a divide where people within the same party speak completely different languages, one a language of God and one a language of secularism, and they're not going to continue to be compatible. Meanwhile, within the Republican Party, overwhelmingly black, white, Hispanic, Asian, over 80% of them identify as Christian in some capacity, in some way. So you can speak with a common language, a common vision on the Republican Party side in a way you can no longer do in the Democratic Party. That's what the era of Barack Obama has gotten us.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
149, Coolray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Better news in Clarkston. Crash just cleared out of the two left lanes. Everything back open. 285 northbound, the outer loop at Church Street, exit number 40. Heads up on the West Freeway. Crash in the left lane, 20 eastbound past Riverside Parkway. And then once you get closer to 285, there's a stalled big rig in the right lane. Better news in Marietta as well. Stalled big rig cleared out of the center lane. Everything back open. 75 south at Windy Hill. Traffic brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside of your Macy's store where you can find the looks, all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what you'll find. Find a location at Macy'sBackstage.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
The Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
I'm trying something this weekend with the guys on the front porch for football, individual chocolate souffles, and I'm not making them. They're from Omaha Steaks. They come to you. They're already in little ramekins. You put them in the oven. You cook them. It saves me time, so I can work on the main course, which is going to be New York strip from Omaha Steaks. I'm doing a steak and cheese platter. I'm making some focaccia, so I'll have the steak and the cheese, and then I'm just going to let Omaha Steaks take care of the dessert, so I don't have to whip up the egg whites and the souffle. They've already done it for me. I just pop it in the oven, and I even used my discount code ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, and got $35 off. Minimum order required. See site for details. You go to omahasteaks.com. At checkout, you see a promo code box. You put in ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, and you will get $35 off. It's already incredible savings site-wide, but I'm doing that for the guys this weekend. It's making life easy for me and delicious for them. It can for you and your friends, whether you're tailgating, just watching football, having friends and family over for the holidays. omahasteaks.com. Eric is your discount code at checkout.
We're having a party and you're invited. Join Centerwell Senior Primary Care for our free grand opening party. Come meet our care team and tour the new center. Plus, food, music, games, and more. Celebrate with Centerwell East Paulding on Wednesday, November 5th, off Charles Hardy Parkway near the Walmart from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Learn more at CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. That's CometoCenterwellGeorgia.com. We'll see you soon.
Want to save 1,000 bones on your next roof? Dave Baker here for Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. Right now, save $1,000 on your roof replacement. Hurry, this treat ends on Halloween. FindlayRoofing.com.
Hi, I'm Joyce. I run the community garden, spoil my grandkids, and I'm a lifelong Georgia native. As a realtor, I help military families settle in and feel at home. I love to show you around. Just like you, I'm rooted in Georgia.
Visit GeorgiaRooted.com to learn more.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, There's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Well, David Brooks, not exactly a Trump fan, he of the New York Times and PBS, is making progressives angry over his comments about this proposed White House ballroom.
Well, I must say the photos are shocking. Because there is something sacred about that building, and it feels like somebody taking a claw into a wedding cake. It just feels wrong. But I have long believed that the White House is just too small. It was built for John Adams and Abigail Adams, and people have added wings on since, of course. But it's just the rooms, and the West Wing is so sacred you can't touch that. But the Obamas used to have their state dinners out in tents, and John Kennedy, they had their state dinners. They had to spread everybody in different rooms. So the idea of having a room where we could have a state dinner or a big event, that still strikes me as the right thing to do. And I'm hoping future presidents will scrape the guilt off and make it nice.
He supports the ballroom. The New York Times supports the ballroom. They're mad at the Washington Post. It's now Jeff Bezos' Washington Post supporting it. It also turns out that Mark Thompson, the head of CNN, had a meeting with the president over the weekend and has now urged CNN to scale back its criticisms of the White House ballroom. And this just in, John Dickerson of CBS News says he's out at the end of the year. Remarkable. Just very, very interesting to see the news media here melting down and progressives furious with David Brooks for daring to say that maybe, just maybe, just possibly, maybe it's a good idea to have this ballroom in the White House. Democrats just aren't really having a good moment. And even Karine Jean-Pierre, I'll play this audio for you a little bit, was on MSNBC, and they were having none of it with her. Actually, you know what? Let me do this. This is the conversation with Karine Jean-Pierre about her book on MSNBC.
Just quickly before you go, since you were talking about the difference in being at the podium and then now in your personal capacity, the special counsel Robert Hur, when his report came out about President Biden and the classified documents, you stood from the White House podium February 2024, and you said that his commentary was gratuitous, that it was unacceptable, and it didn't live in reality. And clearly the American public saw another side of Joe Biden's mental acuity during the summer's debate. Robert Hur was unemployable for a period because of the attacks from the Democrats and from the White House that you were at the podium leading. Have you apologized to Robert Hur?
I mean, look, what I can say to you is I saw the president every single day.
Have you apologized? I saw the president every single day. So you should have known there was something wrong, and you didn't apologize. Folks, let me tell you about Vision Computer right now. If you need a new computer, they can help you with one. But let me spend a moment on the managed IT services, and not just for companies, but for you individually. If you've got a computer and you've got concerns, you need tech support, you're in the gig economy, you got to stay online, you got to keep your computer up and going. For $199 a year, maybe a little less if you mention Eric sent you, Vision Computers can keep you going. Let's say you're a small business. Whether you're in California, you're listening to me right now out in Sacramento, or you're up in Hartford, Connecticut, you're a small business and you need IT to help your company stay online, stay up to date, but you can't afford an in-house guy, Vision Computers can do it for you remotely and save you money. And They're not going to outsource to AI. They're going to actually have human beings that you can get on the phone. Instead of doing chatbot AI tickets, you actually call a phone number, and in 15 seconds or less, you get the answer to what's going on with your computer. They can keep you up and running. Your employees, with Vision Computer in charge of your IT, your employees can be great at their jobs, and they don't have to be great at their computers, so it makes you more productive. VisionComputers.com or 404-COMPUTE. Call them and tell them Eric sent you. 404-COMPUTE or VisionComputers.com. Let Vision Computers take care of your managed IT services for your small business.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Hessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Hessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2 o'clock. I'm Veronica Waters. The news this hour brought to you by Bread Beckers. WSB's top local story, a road collapse in Clayton County. A water main break crumbled the roadway at Longleaf Drive and Pine Creek Road. The repair of the main is now underway, but the road, no can do. Video pictures from the scene show the entire road caved in. Forest Park's Department of Public Works, Anton Matthews, tells WSB it's going to be closed there until at least tomorrow.
The current time, because of the rain, it will remain closed throughout the night, and a response team will respond tomorrow to conduct more permanent repairs.
Drivers are being told, therefore, to avoid the area. It's 53 degrees now in Midtown Atlanta. Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz expects showers and clouds throughout the day with highs in the mid-50s. Tonight's low right at 50 degrees. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Atlanta-based children's clothing retailer Carter's Inc. is planning more layoffs and job closures.
Carter's CEO Doug Palladini says tariffs are a significant factor in the decision to lay off about 15% of its corporate staff, that's roughly 300 employees, and close 150 North American stores as part of a major cost-cutting plan.
Closing these stores does result in short-term revenue loss, but historical perspectives suggest there will be offsetting sales transfer benefits.
Carter's expects to save about $35 million a year from the layoffs, and the company is also reducing its product offering by 20 to 30% to streamline supply chain processes. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Sometimes a new store can be the biggest story in town, and that happened today in Peachtree City.
9 o'clock in the morning, the new Trader Joe's opens in Peachtree City.
Shortly before the ribbon cutting, there were several hundred people that were waiting on the location that pretty much wrapped all the way around through the shopping center.
Peachtree City Police Lieutenant Chris Hyatt says police knew from social media it would be a big deal and planned accordingly.
We look forward to having it here in the long term, and we're just evaluating the overall situation as it goes, at least through the first week, to ensure that we're not going to have more issues arise from it.
Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
News for women in menopause. The FDA approves a new pill to treat hot flashes, and it doesn't include hormones. Medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder has more on when the drug Linquit will be available.
We're being told available next month, November, and the cash price is $625 for a 30-day supply, but for many women with insurance, the monthly cost may be as low as $25 a month.
Many women can't or don't want to use hormone replacement therapy, so this drug offers a new option. It's 2:02, live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
Fall is a busy time, and selling your home can be overwhelming. Get a guaranteed cash offer from Mark Spain Real Estate and sell your home stress-free and for the most money. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our Guaranteed Offer is the easiest way to sell your home. With the Guaranteed Offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can bypass the market, receive the strongest all-cash offer in the industry, and close in as little as 21 days. Our Guaranteed Offer keeps you in control. Go to markspain.com to get a Guaranteed Offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hi, I'm David Nicholas, financial advisor and president of Nicholas Wealth Management. But most importantly, I'm a husband and a father. The three most important things in my life are faith, family, and freedom. Unfortunately, I think we're facing threats to all three. The yahoos in Washington want to erode our wealth by inflation, regulation, and out-of-control spending. Deficits, robbed Social Security, and inflation have devalued our dollar and made raising a family nearly impossible. And frankly, I'm sick and tired of it. The federal government is 40% bigger today than it was before COVID. I think that means taxes are going higher. Don't let higher taxes devastate your retirement accounts. At Nicholas Wealth, we have CPAs and CFPs that can show you how to shelter your retirement accounts from higher taxes. Our Retire Ready tax analysis is a $1,000 value, but we'll provide it completely complimentary for callers who have saved more than $250,000 for retirement and give us a call in the next 10 minutes. The number to call is 404-890-5606. That's 404-890-5606, or you can go to nicholaswealth.com.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. This is prepared for informational purposes only. It does not address specific investment objectives or the financial situation and the needs of any person. This is a paid advertisement.
2:05 live team coverage of traffic and weather starts right now. Good afternoon from me to Alex Williams, who's navigating you from the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Hey, good afternoon, Veronica. Right now we're watching brake lights 20 eastbound on the west side from Riverside Parkway over to a stalled Big Rig in the right lane before 285. DeKalb County crash in the right lane, 285 northbound, the outer loop at Glenwood Road, exit 44, and Big Jam 75 north into Locust Grove. Crash before Bill Gardner Parkway leaves only a left lane open. Use Highway 42. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Low to mid-50s through the day with an overcast sky and periods of rain. Showers continue tonight down to 50 by Tuesday morning. Overcast, but just a 20% chance of a stray shower tomorrow. High 57.
51 degrees right now in Jonesboro, 48 in Beaufort, and it's 53 in Midtown Atlanta at 2:06. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, there is some breaking news. We know very little about it, but the FBI is saying they have foiled an alleged murder-for-hire plot against Attorney General Pam Bondi. I will keep you posted as we learn more about that situation. I want to talk to you about a really disturbing story. And I got to give credit to the New York Times. And I want to say this. I'm a regular critic of CNN and the New York Times, in large part because I know they can do better. They have always been liberal in their frame of mind and worldview, but as progressives have gone further left, so have these institutions. But occasionally they do good work. And like with CNN, I would highlight their international coverage that other networks just can't do because they don't have the resources. And with the New York Times, occasionally they have some very in-depth and profound reporting. And this is very disturbing. And I need to start this hour by telling you it's disturbing. And I need to remind you that when I got elected to office, it was on an effort to stop human trafficking. It is an issue I care much about. It is an issue as well that I have seen more and more people over the years as the issue has been put within a tribal lens. A lot of liberals who used to care about it no longer think it's a big deal. And so that's why I have to give credit to the New York Times and to Emily Baumgarten-Nunn, the reporter who was vetted with Vice investigators to uncover this. And let me read for you part of this. Anna paced on the sidewalk at 68th in Figueroa. I'm mispronouncing that. Her front teeth missing and an ostomy bag taped down under her hot pink lingerie. She surveyed the intersection in South Central Los Angeles where preteens were hobbling in stilettos and G-strings. It was a Tuesday night this January, and Anna knew that most of the girls longed for a coat or gloves, something to keep them warm, but covering up was not an option. Their eyes were cast down, but their hands waved mechanically at every car, angling for another customer to help meet their traffickers' quotas. Anna was working too. But the years had worn down any visceral anxiety into something more like resignation. Anna was 19, but the girls on the street reminded her of herself and her sister when they were first put on the street for sex. She was 13, her sister was 11. Their story had been unoriginal, at least for the street. Foster kids turned runaways, turned recruits, drawn in by a new friend on Instagram who offered to help them get by. The friend dropped Anna and her sister off at a motel and handed them lacy bikinis. Anna asked what they were for. They needed to turn in $800 each by morning, the friend said. They stood on a corner, shivering. It would take at least half a dozen customers each. By now, Anna had grown accustomed to the protocols of the Blade, a roughly 50-block stretch of Figueroa Street that had become one of the most notorious sex trafficking corridors in the United States. She knew to approach cars from the passenger side and get the money as soon as she climbed in. She knew which motels had rooms set aside for just this purpose, which schools and businesses didn't padlock their parking lots at night. She knew she needed to be dropped back off on the Blade every 30 minutes if she was going to reach her new quota of $1,200. The sameness in the days and weeks and months on Figueroa was such that Anna remembered little of them. The Blade was an 8-minute drive from the University of Southern California in yet another universe. Parents pushed strollers past the traffic girls as they took their own children to school. Amid boarded-up storefronts were a few that catered specifically to the trade, a smoke shop with the banner, "Free Magnum condoms with any purchase," and a lingerie store named in cursive, "Sluts." Figueroa seemed to be the one street in all of Los Angeles where nobody even honked. Customers waited politely as if in line at a drive-thru to peruse the menu and take their pick. Over the years, the Blade has become much busier than when Anna started. More girls, more customers, more traffickers idling in their Hellcats and Porsches on the side streets, watching to make sure the girls didn't hide any money and didn't snitch. Anna had seen the Blade expand from 3 main intersections in Figueroa to more than 3 miles. She'd met girls brought in from the East Coast and the Deep South, and there sometimes seemed to be 4 times as many minors as before, easy to spot by their over-the-top makeup and unsteady gait. The police helicopters Anna used to notice hovering overhead with searchlights seemed to become infrequent. Eventually, they disappeared. In the shadows, Figueroa had become more violent. The younger the girl, the more customers would pay, which meant preteens were often being robbed and assaulted by groups of older girls trying to make quota. The traffickers who governed the street were worse. Tonight, Anna was waving at cars in front of a tire shop when a trafficker pulled up on the wrong side of the street, climbed out, and beat one of the girls near Anna over the head with a pistol. The girl had probably looked at him wrong, Anna decided. She knew better than to intervene. When he left, Anna plodded over to her own trafficker to ask for a break. The answer was no. Anna took some Percocets and chased them with Hennessy to numb herself. The temperature dropped, and soon she felt herself longing for another customer's car just to get out of the cold. It's the way this starts. And here is the truth. In California, progressive policies have enabled this. Scott Wiener, who is a progressive gay activist and member of the California legislature, pushed for legislation that actually made human trafficking easier to do in California. He's now running against Nancy Pelosi. It is appalling to read this New York Times piece and to understand what's happening. And if you have been paying attention to the views of the left for some time, they are increasingly fine with human trafficking because they believe it's about empowering the women who are actually the victims. The spin from the left is that budgets have been cut, so the Los Angeles Police Department is shorthanded and can't combat it. This is something even some Democrats are saying, you know, the National Guard could actually do something about this. But California actually passed a law, SB 357 from Scott Wiener, that makes it impossible for law enforcement officers to do anything about child exploitation. The New York Times actually does hint at this. Police officers' jobs grew even more challenging when California repealed the law allowing the police to arrest women who loitered with the intent to engage in prostitution. The repeal, known as SB 357, was intended to prevent profiling of black, brown, and trans women based on how they dressed. But when it was implemented in January of 2023, the effect was that uniformed officers could no longer apprehend groups of girls in lingerie on Figueroa, hoping to recover minors among them. Now officers needed to be willing to swear they had reason to suspect each girl was underage, but with fake eyelashes and wigs, it was often impossible to tell. One girl told Vice officers her traffics had explained everything there succinctly. "We run Figueroa now," he said. Why? Because Scott Wiener in the California legislature decided in the name of ending racial profiling that we had to stop the police from randomly arresting women who were loitering on the side of the road to engage in prostitution, which they call sex workers now. It's sex workers. It's not prostitution, it's just sex work. And supposedly it's legitimate and it empowers women and their bodies to make money. That's the way the left views it. And the practical reality is that it empowers human traffickers to prostitute underage girls. This is happening in Los Angeles, California, and across California. Young women, oftentimes runaways, they get lured, drugged, beaten, sometimes killed. In September of 2021, when Anna was 15, a sergeant matched her tattoos to ones he had seen in an online sex ad and began to track her. When she was finally found, the sergeant wept from relief and told her about a woman named Shannon who could help her. Shannon Forsyth ran an anti-trafficking nonprofit called Run to Rescue, which included a recovery house for 4 girls. A spot had just opened up. The Run to Rescue house was not a typical group home, the sergeant told Anna. The organization took no government funding, which meant Forsyth could run the home as she wanted. There were no cell phones, no weekend passes, no revolving door of shift staff. Instead, the girls had live-in parental figures, Forsyth and her husband, and a customized healing plan they worked through as a unit. There were therapists, addiction recovery counselors, nurses, and tutors. The girls kept journals. They navigated conflict at the kitchen table. They took trips to the mountains, the beach, and Baskin-Robbins, sometimes twice a week. Forsyth's home had only one real rule. Everybody agreed to abide together, no more running away. Anna heard all of this and scoffed. She had lived in plenty of group homes, each with its own set of surprise horrors. She was not interested. The sergeant would have needed to pass Anna off to child services, but there was a warrant out for her arrest. By then, Anna had committed a variety of crimes, some forced by her traffickers, some by her own volition. Instead of a new foster care placement, she was sent to juvenile hall, which brought Forsyth months to win her over. Forsyth called Anna every week to pray with her. She showed up at the courthouse for every hearing, even though she wasn't allowed in the room. She pleaded with her social worker and the judge to sign paperwork that would grant her power of attorney. Anna wanted to know who this odd woman was, this woman who seemed obsessed with her, maybe capable of keeping her off Figueroa. Deep down, Anna wanted that too, and so far, Forsyth seemed to keep her word. After 4 months, Anna relented, and they pulled away from the courthouse in Forsyth's car. Anna noticed the back seat doors were unlocked, but a gut feeling told her not to run. She wound up back on the streets. She had to have 7 surgeries. She was back in the old habits and wounded. A fractured face, a broken back, knocked out teeth, a ruptured colon, and other injuries. She went a month without a shower and her hair fell out. This is the life that she fell into. And Miss Forsyth continued to be persistent and prayed to help. Y'all, this is happening on the streets of the United States. Underage girls being prostituted, while progressives call it sex work and claim it's empowering their bodies. And when you point out the ramifications of their policies, they deny it, they deflect, they get defensive. They say, who are we to judge? Y'all, we have real problems in this country, and a ballroom at the White House isn't one of them. And Democrats want to define themselves in opposition to everything Donald Trump has done. Can we turn our attention to this problem, please, progressives? That the laws progressives in California passed have empowered human traffickers who are trafficking underage girls, and there is high demand and a customer base. Can we talk about that for a minute instead of a government shutdown? Can we talk about that for a minute instead of an east wing of the White House? Can we talk for that for a minute instead of Donald Trump running for a third term? Can we talk about any of these problems, or are we only allowed to talk about Donald Trump? Saturday was the first of the month, which always meant big business. Everybody had their paycheck. Lines of cars wrapped around side streets. The sunset splashed gold and purple against the panes of a laundromat. It was February, but an ice cream truck was playing Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and Anna had already worked 6 days straight, and tonight everything ached. The skin around her ostomy bag stung. The kind men who had driven through each night that week and offered to pray for Anna had not shown up. And she finally got rescued by the Forsyth family again. At least somebody cares. Why don't the Democrats do something? They could fix this, and they've chosen not to. All they care about is Donald Trump. They don't care about these young women on the streets of Los Angeles who are being trafficked. And all they have to do is repeal one law. But they've decided to hold it hostage to the screams of racial profiling instead of the reality of what happens with this law.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
222 Coolray Carrier WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory. Crash now in 2 right lanes into DeKalb. 285 northbound. The outer loop at Glenwood Road, exit 44. Already starting to slow back before I-20. Think about Flat Shoals up to Candler, or even head up through downtown as an alternate there. Traffic brought to you by Ashley Home Store, or Ashley Furniture. Ashley Furniture's biggest sale of the year is going on now during the Black Friday event. You can shop trending hot buys for every room in your home starting at $199. Don't miss the Ashley Black Friday event going on now. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It doesn't have to be like this.
You don't have to put up with it.
Shutting down the ramp from 285 east.
You don't have to sit in it.
It takes almost 30 minutes to go 400 south.
And you don't have to look at your phone to get out of it.
It is Atlanta traffic, and getting you out of it is what we do best.
We had a lot going on this morning through Henry County.
Updated traffic as often as you need it from local traffic reporters 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It's a jackknife tractor trailer.
Triple team traffic.
95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta gets there.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
If you have Medicaid and are new to Medicare, you may qualify to enroll in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan with a lot more benefits like dental, vision, and hearing, along with helpful support when you need it most. Now is the time to see if you qualify to enroll. It only takes a few minutes to find out if you're eligible. Our licensed sales agents are ready to help you understand your options. So this Medicare planning season, we can help you plan well. Learn more at humanaduals.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a dual eligible special needs HMO SNP plan with a Medicare contract and a contract with the state Medicaid program. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere, live, to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Whether it's a slip that ends in a slip disc, a trick knee that's holding you back, or shoulder pain hurting your game, you can count on Northside Hospital Orthopedics. With leading care in Georgia at convenient locations all across the state, we're here to get you back on your feet, no matter what comes your way. Because Georgia moves us, and we keep Georgia moving. Find a provider near you at northside.com/ortho. That's northside.com/ORTHO.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All the information without the spin. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
Howdy, welcome. It is Erick Erickson here, 877-973-7425. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Service has announced they're updating the citizenship test to ensure new U.S. citizens honor and embrace our history, civics, and values. The 2025 test assesses an alien's understanding of U.S. history and government in line with the statutory requirement and one of the many steps in the ongoing effort to restore integrity. U.S. citizenship, they say, is the most sacred citizenship in the world and should only be reserved for aliens who will fully embrace our values and principles as a nation by ensuring only those aliens who meet all eligibility requirements, including the ability to read, write, and speak English and understand U.S. government and civics, are able to be naturalized. Good for them. In contrast to the great New York Times profile of human trafficking in L.A., consider one where they're claiming that we're politicizing history now. Why? Because conservatives are getting rid of progressive spin from the history books, and they're upset about it. Now, you know, that's one of the reasons I like Old Glory Bank, because they were by conservatives for conservatives, and they've seen the debanking trends that progressives deny they're doing, even though they're well documented to be doing. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric. You can get an account with Old Glory Bank. You know, I've got a checking account and a savings account with them. No fee checking, no fee savings. You can get premium accounts. If you're active duty military, you can get a lot of the fees waived. You go to oldglorybank.com/Eric today. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. Sign up with Old Glory Bank today. You can get mortgages with them. You can do CDs with them. They're a fully functioning bank. They're online, but you can deposit cash with them even though they're online. And they're by conservatives. They're for conservatives. They're the fastest growing bank in the country right now, and they're great for businesses. I've got a number of friends of mine who run business, particularly in the gun industry, that I've recommended Old Glory Bank. They all have rave reviews. oldglorybank.com/Eric. You can go sign up with them today. oldglorybank.com/ERICK. It actually is my bank. I got a checking and a savings account with them. And you can too. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. When we come back, I'll take your phone calls, 877-973-7425. And a disturbing realignment of the American economy. And is AI to blame? I'll tell you what I know.
Hey, I'm Chris Chandler. Tuesday at 5 on Atlanta's Morning News, breaking stories from overnight and how much rain we're going to finally end up with in our exclusive 5-day forecast, and what Clark Howard says you can do if you're sick of high power bills on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
Weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 2:30. I'm Veronica Waters. News this half hour brought to you by FGA Roofing. WSB's top local story: crews in Forest Park and Clayton County are hard at work repairing a crumbled road after a water main break creates a massive hole. It collapsed at Longleaf Drive and Pine Creek Road. Forest Park's Department of Public Works and Ton Aunt Matthews says the weather doesn't help when it comes to road repair.
This type of weather definitely will slow down the repairs, but crews are working diligently to make the roads passable.
Matthews tells WSB the area will be closed at least through tomorrow. Carter's, the Atlanta-based children's clothing company, says it will be shutting down 150 stores nationwide. The closures will be spread out over roughly 3 years, with the first 100 stores shutting down over the remainder of this year and next. Additionally, 15% of the staff at Carter's will be laid off. Patience is wearing thin for government workers who are off the job as a result of the government shutdown. House Speaker Mike Johnson blames Democrats for the impasse, saying Democrats are fearful of a particular contingent of their base.
They're doing it to appease their far-left Marxist base. That's the headline. That's why. That's why we're all in this mess. That's why the American people are suffering pain.
Senate Democrats have been holding out, citing the need to extend expiring health insurance subsidies. But the American Federation of Government Employees says both parties have made their point, and now it's time to end this. A rare Category 5 hurricane is bearing down on Jamaica. Melissa has doubled over the weekend and now has winds of 175 miles per hour with even stronger gusts. It's the strongest storm on planet Earth this year. Jamaica's ordering a mandatory evacuation. There's a SWAT standoff after 2 people are killed in a workplace shooting in Tennessee. It happened at the Barcoo Plastics plant in the city of Cleveland. That's just northeast of Chattanooga. Police say a suspect murdered 2 employees before fleeing. A SWAT team has now surrounded the suspect's home. It's 2:32. Live team coverage of traffic and weather next.
When you come home after being away, you see your home with fresh eyes. And eventually, you'll roll up to your old garage door and finally notice how chipped and faded that rusty old slab really is. But that's the first thing people see when they come visit. a 250 square foot bent aluminum lime green garage door that also squeaks. Welcome to our home. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our design consultants can help you find a strong, quiet, modern garage door that anyone would be proud to come home to. Modern materials that won't crack, dent, or fade. In contemporary styles that showcase your home's design. Call Mo Better Garage and let us show you just how joyful arriving back home can be.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Attention men, does ED and PE have you down? Well, great news. Choice Men's Health has the latest breakthrough treatments that can get you up and running. Meet the specialist who is dedicated to helping you perform better than ever in the bedroom.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Our custom treatment plans have a 98% success rate at improving ED and PE on your very first visit, even if Viagra and Cialis have failed. Regardless of your age and medical history, we are here and dedicated to help you regain your love life.
Don't wait. Call Choice Men's Health now. We are so confident we can help. For a limited time, we're offering to cover your first treatment for free. Call 404-400-1170. Call now to claim your free treatment. 404-400-1170. Results guaranteed on your first visit or it's free. 404-400-1170. Choice Men's Health, the only choice for your health.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on select varieties of Kroger brand cheese. 6 to 8 ounce packs are only $1.79 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
It's 2:34. Live team coverage of traffic and weather comes with a look at the drive. First from Alex Williams.
Travel advisory out of Sandy Springs into Cobb. Overturned box truck crash. 285 westbound, the outer loop before I-75. Multiple right lanes are blocked. Take 85 south to 400 north, or I-75 north rather. And right now, all lanes being held. 285 north, the outer loop at Glenwood Road to clear crash out of the right lanes. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm Channel 2 Action News Chief Meteorologist Brad Nitz. Low to mid-50s through the day with an overcast sky and periods of rain. Showers continue tonight down to 50 by Tuesday morning. Overcast, but just a 20% chance of a stray shower tomorrow. High 57.
50 degrees in Ball Ground, 51 in Conyers, and 53 in Midtown Atlanta at 235 on 95.5 WSB.
This is Eric Erickson here. Before I move on, I want to take Gene's call, calling from Boswick, Florida. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Hi, Eric. It's great to talk to you. I'm very fine. My question is, where are all the indignant Democrats? Where were they all at when Obama was using drones to blow up people in the Mideast, and including American citizens that he killed, just because those people he designated as terrorists? Those Democrats that are out there today yelling and screaming had nothing to say when Obama was doing this. This is total hypocrisy on their part.
Gene, you're not supposed to mention this. There's no such thing as a hypocritical Democrat. They are pure as the driven snow. And if our Lord and Savior Barack Obama determined that people needed to die, well, you as an American, you're supposed to rally around the flag and say, yes, sir. It's Donald Trump is the illegitimate abomination. He's not allowed to do this. I mean, that's kind of where the Democratic position is on this stuff. Whatever Barack Obama want to do. Now, here's the irony, Gene. And this has not gotten a whole lot of coverage because it does make it awkward for the Democrats. And let's just acknowledge the awkwardness for the Democrats here that Barack Obama did use drones and killed American citizens without due process. And the irony is that when congressmen asked the Trump administration last week the justification that he could give for the power of the president to blow up these boats in the Caribbean without congressional approval, he cited Barack Obama killing an American citizen without due process. All he's done is he's taken the precedents of the Democrats and used them. For all the Democrats who say, and this is the thing that Democrats tend to forget, is for all the Democrats who say, oh, you Republicans, you're doing things now that the Democrats, they're going to do when they get back. And we're all like, you guys were already doing them. Barack Obama was already using drones against American citizens. Barack Obama and Joe Biden, they were the ones dragging pro-lifers out of their houses and arresting them. Barack Obama's IRS was weaponized against conservatives. Even the inspector general said so. I mean, all these people say, if you do this, Democrats are going to do it. Democrats have already been doing it. The press always gives the Democrats a pass and doesn't particularly cover these things. It's when Republicans do it that they get all the coverage. Now, I want to call your attention to a piece by Derek Thompson in his Substack. Is this the new scariest chart in the world, he writes. In the last few days, I've seen the following chart bounce around my corner of the internet, often with some commentary declaring it's the scariest chart in the world. The graph seems to show that the release of ChatGPT and the ensuing AI boom cracked the U.S. economy in two, crushing the workforce while lifting the stock market. You might have several reactions to the graph, including but not limited to, should we be alarmed by this picture? Irrespective of our emotional reaction to Sam Altman being his face beat on it, how is it possible? The stock market's up 70% in the last 3 years, while job openings are down 30%. And wait, are we even sure the data above is actually true, since after all, this thing's been circulating on the internet? The numbers are real. The stock market's on fire and the labor market is cooling, and these things really are happening at the same time in a way that's unprecedented in the modern era. Since October of 2022, the month that ChatGPT's debut supercharged historic investment boom in AI, total job postings in the economy have declined by 1/3, while the S&P 500 has increased 75%. Both things are true, and their juxtaposition is fairly historic. For the last few decades, job openings have mostly tracked the rise and fall of the stock market. Nothing like the current divergence between equity returns and job openings has ever occurred in the history of the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey, which was first released in 2002. Some people may worry that this could be a long saga of how artificial intelligence ate the American economy and destroyed the working class. But there could be correlation, not causation. Derek Thompson writes, it's possible that generative AI boom created a new economic paradigm. For some big tech companies, perhaps the high cost of frontier chips, data centers, and energy is making it prohibitively expensive to hire and retain more workers while maintaining the desired profit margin. So big tech companies are shoveling their free cash flow into data centers instead of new headcounts. But there's at least one big problem with the idea that generative AI is responsible for the decline in job openings. Job listings did not peak in November of 2022 when ChatGPT came out. They peaked in March of 2022, the same month the Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the first time this cycle. Now, I'm going to skip Derek Thompson and the rest of his piece here. I'm just going to tell you that here's the problem. The problem is that the AI data centers and AI investment in this country is exploding, and it's sending the S&P 500 soaring, but the S&P 500 is really soaring because of the top stocks, not all the stocks. In fact, around the country in small businesses and elsewhere, the economy is not as good as the top line numbers would have you believe. In fact, when you look at the decline in job openings, you're seeing a decline in mining and logging, down 50% from November 2022 to August of 2025. That's an area of the economy that AI will have nothing to do with. Durable goods manufacturing is down almost 50%. Professional and business services could be impacted by AI, down about 40%. Non-farm employment down about 30%. Healthcare and social assistance hiring down just over 25%. Finance and insurance down 25%. Information economy down about 20%. Interestingly enough, the information economy actually had the smallest decline in job openings. The problem with our economy, dare I say tariffs are playing a role, but it's not just tariffs. It's overall in the economy, small businesses have never gotten over the inflation shock from the Biden era. And the Trump administration, bless their hearts, they haven't been able to really bring prices down or wages up. Part of the problem here is you don't want a dramatic crash in costs. That's deflationary, and deflation gives you a depression. What you want to have happen is you want salaries to go up. So you get inflation down to where it's growing at 1 or 2% instead of the 3% it is, but salaries are growing 3 and 4%. Salaries eventually catch up and cross inflation, so people feel like they have more money and are getting ahead in an economy where costs are slowly trickling up. That's not happening right now, and part of the reason it's not happening is, frankly, the tariffs. Small businesses and big businesses are absorbing the costs, but by absorbing the costs, they can't raise wages. And then on top of that, there are these other weaknesses in the economy. Let me read you this from Yahoo News. Top analysts at Bank of America Research are pulling back the curtain on the colossal $22 trillion universe of private capital, an asset class so massive it would be the world's second largest economy if it were treated as a country. As the global financial landscape faces tectonic shifts, Bank of America Research's latest thematic investing report reveals that private capital is reshaping how companies, investors, and economies think about growth, risk, and control, challenging the primacy of public markets, and opening new frontiers for both innovation and caution. Private capital, defined by the bank as assets not available on public markets, includes private equity, private credit, and real assets. It has multiplied at a staggering pace, more than double since 2012 to $22 trillion by 2024. The explosion has been driven by a retreat from public markets. Since 2000, the number of U.S.-listed companies has halved to just over 4,000, even as the number of private venture-backed firms soared 25-fold. Startups now remain private for an average of 16 years, a third longer than a decade ago, reflecting a broad shift towards private capital and away from public scrutiny and regulation. The world's most transformative firms aren't found on the stock market ticker, Bank of America argues. Just as public stock markets have a Magnificent Seven, there's a private Magnificent Seven of hectacorns, each valued at $100 billion or more. The research team at Bank of America estimates the combined valuations have skyrocketed nearly fivefold since 2023 to $1.4 trillion. They evaluated the top 16 companies in the space, representing $1.5 trillion in value, 1% of global GDP. For investors, Bank of America finds private equity has outperformed the S&P 500 over this period by 6 percentage points per year on average. And there are other benefits to privacy. In the time spent on financial regulation paperwork every year, 12 Great Pyramids of Giza could be built, according to Bank of America. Now, here's the problem. As this story goes on to point to, there are less reporting. There's no public reporting. There's less oversight. There's less regulation. There could be problems. Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan pointed out that one of these companies has collapsed and said when you see one cockroach, there are probably more. In fact, it's probably true. But interestingly enough, J.P. Morgan at the same time is announcing they may start taking crypto for down payments for mortgages. After Dodd-Frank and the financial crisis of 2008-2009, and before that, the Enron situation and the legislation passed then, Sarbanes-Oxley, a lot of major companies are growing in private space because the regulatory burden is too high for them, it's too costly for them, and they just want to grow. And the problem is that you and I don't have access into these markets with few exceptions. So the rich can invest in them, and the rich do get richer. And you and I don't. We're left on the sidelines. I actually got invited into they clearly have no idea how little money I have. I got invited into a website where you actually can buy ownership interest in a number of these privately capitalized companies. There are a couple of them that I've looked at in the past, Anduril and others. I would love to own stock in Anduril. It's a weapons manufacturer, makes drones for defense and stuff. It's a very cool company. And I get emails a lot of times about these companies that are on these exchanges and the amount of money and stuff. But it's all there. There are no SEC filings. You have no real idea whether or not the information that they're talking about is real, whether or not the data and the assessment of the companies is good. And this is one of those reasons Andrew Ross Sorkin from CNBC is raising alarms about 1929 all over again, that the biggest growth out there is not on the publicly traded stock markets and on the lesser regulated, if not unregulated, private markets that you and I don't get to see, but where trillions of dollars is being flooded into. And we don't know if the companies are legitimate, the audits are not as good, the regulations are not as good. And the reason it exists, however, is because the government has made it too complicated to be a public sector company. So a lot of nimble companies that actually do mean well and are good, the costs are too overwhelming for them to try to go public right now. They don't need to. They got the money, and they don't have to go with the regulatory hurdles. This is the quote that stands out for me again. This is the quote. This is from Bank of America. In the time spent on financial regulation paperwork every year, 12 Great Pyramids of Giza could be built. That's what the government has done. It's not just us, it's the EU and others as your company gets big, and you got to deal with the Europeans and us, the Chinese, the Japanese, everybody. In the time spent on financial regulation paperwork every year, 12 Great Pyramids of Giza could be built. That's a damning indictment on the government regulatory structure. They have made it so burdensome, a lot of companies have decided not to participate in publicly traded companies, which have shut you and me out of some great companies that we could have in our 401ks. But at the same time, it's also allowed the valuation of a lot of companies that have tied up a lot of capital that could be a house of cards, that could bring the entire economy down. Our government is a reactionary force. Rarely does the government actually proactively regulate. They tend to respond. And they responded to the Enron and the MCI WorldCom collapses and the like with Sarbanes-Oxley. And then they responded to the banking crisis with Dodd-Frank. And what they did is they passed more and more burdensome regulations that have chased a lot of capital into private markets where you and I can't get to them, nor can the government see them. And if the economy goes south, they could all come collapsing down. And here's the problem. You know and I know what Congress's response will be is actually to pass even more regulations, to regulate even more, and to keep you and me further away from being able to invest in good companies that are on the private market, because the government, in the name of protecting us, has decided to strangle the economy as opposed to just letting the creative destruction of the marketplace work. They keep trying to pick winners and losers instead of letting capitalism itself do that, and that just drives up regulatory costs and chases more businesses into the shadows.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
250 Cool Ray Carrier, WSB 24-hour traffic center. Travel advisory out of Sandy Springs into Cobb. Overturned box truck 285 westbound the outer loop before I-75 exit number 23. Right lanes are blocked. You're jammed back to Georgia 400. Take 85 south to I-75 north as an alternate. New trouble in DeKalb. It's in the center lane. 285 southbound the inner loop at Covington Highway. And that 285 northbound outer loop crash at Glenwood Road still in the right lane. Traffic brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help you troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
The way you should live your life is look at the way they're doing it at D.C. and then just run.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
Other people are getting away with it, so you should get away with it.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Well, your best day ever would have been a Tuesday. Who knows?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed right here on 95.5 WSB. Well, Chris, as you know, time just keeps on ticking. We're putting another year under our belt, so it seems like a really good time to take stock of our financial lives and put together that plan that's built to last.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So We ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on Portfolio X-ray, or click on Full Retirement Plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
My whole identity had been wrapped up in being a soldier. To have that so violently ripped from me when I was wounded, I was lost for a very long time. When Wounded Warrior Project came into my life, being around the other warriors, people that had similar experiences that I did, it was a game changer for me. Having King join the group, that was the beginning of a really good friendship. It's a good time.
I first heard about Wounded Warrior Project through CQ. And at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I qualify. But having been a part of it, it's kind of taught me that it's not just the wounds that you can see, but it's those that you can't.
When you do something like a peer support group with Wounded Warrior Project and come together from different walks of life, man, the growth is incredible. If not for Wounded Warrior Project, I really don't think that I'd be here today.
See how we help warriors combat stigma at woundedwarriorproject.org/combat stigma.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Javier Milei has scored a big electoral win in Argentina, securing and strengthening his position in Argentina's Congress. 99% of the vote counted, and they picked up 41% of the national vote, doubling their representation in Argentina's Congress. They've been a minority party in Congress, so much so they haven't been able to stop vetoes of the Congress rolling back Milei's actions. Now he gets to preserve his veto power, defend his sweeping decrees, and he can do more decrees that the Argentinian Congress is going to be able to stop. Interestingly enough, his result was stronger than what polls predicted. Polls had actually predicted Milei was not going to have a good turn, that the Peronist party was going to surge. It did not happen. Exit polling of voters showed that while people don't particularly like what's going on in Argentina right now with Milei, they actually trust him and don't want to see the people who screwed up the economy go back into power. There could potentially be a corollary here in this country, as voters don't like Donald Trump, but they really dislike the Democrats. Interestingly enough, Milei is economically to the right of Trump. Trump is much more of a populist Democrat. Economically, Milei is a big free market supporter. He's actually lectured Donald Trump on his free market support and lack thereof. Trump, of course, is a big fan of Milei's and wants to help Argentina, is willing to help Argentinian beef exports to the United States, much to the chagrin of American beef producers. He's willing to prop up the Argentinian economy to ease the burdens of Milei's reforms, but Milei's reforms are working. There's no longer a housing shortage in Buenos Aires. Rent prices have come down for people. Jobs have started growing again. His free market reforms are turning the corner in Argentina, and there's a lesson for the United States about the protectionism path we're going down compared to what Milei is doing in Argentina. Great success, and he's just been rewarded by the voters of Argentina. Speaking of free market reforms, Americans for Prosperity supports the free market. They support families and small businesses. They support deregulation. They support permitting reforms. They support school choice. So many great conservative policies. And, of course, they were big players in pushing the grassroots to mobilize for President Trump's tax reforms. All you have to do if you want to stay informed and be engaged with Americans for Prosperity is go to afpvolunteer.com. afpvolunteer.com. It's where you get engaged with the grassroots around America on the conservative side to mobilize voters, to stay informed, to talk to your local government, your state government, your federal government. You don't even have to be one of those activists who wants to show up. All you have to do is stay informed, and AFP will keep you informed about common sense legislation around the country that benefits conservatives. You go to afpvolunteer.com today. afpvolunteer.com. Sign up with Americans for Prosperity. Get involved in fighting for common sense conservative reforms. All right, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day.
More local news.
Newton County authorities crediting the Georgia State Patrol ground stop at the airport. Meanwhile,
more traffic.
One crash on I-20 westbound.
More weather.
The tornado threat has appeared to come to an end for Henry County. Atlanta's morning news.
Tomorrow morning at 5.
This is a complicated, controversial subject.
Wake up with 95.5 WSB.
How Atlanta starts its day. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
So, yeah, it's true. My TV's on again, watching my beloved NFL football. And what do I see every commercial break? Get a free iPhone 17 something something from this carrier, that carrier, the other carrier. Why are they giving you a free phone? Answer, they're not. They're handcuffing you to them big time because the